Hi, Steve's, thanks.
Good choice. That'd be $52.99, thanks.
Thanks.
Repco, it starts with the parts.
Hi, Steve's, thanks.
Good choice. That'd be $52.99, thanks.
Thanks.
Repco, it starts with the parts. From the outside, who would know what lies beneath? Unleash it with a machine as savage as you are.
This is how legends are made.
Lenovo Legion. Stylish outside, savage inside.
The Repco Supercars Pro eSeries is proudly brought to you by Repco. It starts with the parts. The Repco Supercars Pro eSeries is proudly brought to you by Repco. It starts with the parts.
Hi, Steve's, thanks.
Good choice. That'd be $52.99, thanks.
Thanks.
Repco, it starts with the parts.
Hi, Steve's, thanks.
Good choice. That'd be $52.99, thanks.
Thanks.
Repco, it starts with the parts. From the outside, who would know what lies beneath? Unleash it with a machine as savage as you are.
This is how legends are made.
Lenovo Legion. Stylish outside, savage inside.
The Repco Supercars Pro eSeries is proudly brought to you by Repco. It starts with the parts. What you're racing. This is the track you want to be on. Every corner, every bump, every wall has a story. And as we all know, anything can happen here.
Oh, big moment, a massive moment for one of the Pepsi Max cars. Mostert has had a terrible accident at the top of the hill.
Tonight, the eSeries field gets a chance to write their own chapter of Bathurst history. 2 tough races around the legendary Mount Panorama. Can anyone catch Josh Rogers? Who can conquer the mountain? We'll find out over the next 2 hours. This is the Repco Supercars Pro eSeries.
Oh yeah, the mountain is calling, and we've got 24 virtual drivers ready to answer that call tonight. It's the Repco Supercars Pro eSeries, and we've got a guest on the desk tonight, which is really cool. Jonathan Simon is back. Good evening to you, Jonathan.
Good evening.
Good to have you back again, mate, for round number 3 of action. But how good's this? Nick Percat, our first special guest on the desk. Welcome, mate. You've got 3 Brad Jones racing cars to cheer on tonight.
I do, so it makes it easier. Hopefully they're at the front.
Yep.
I think they've been going pretty well from what I've seen, but I'm looking forward to seeing what they got, especially at Bathurst. It's obviously the best track on the calendar.
100%. Madison Down's been pretty quick so far throughout the course of the year. But let's talk about your year first, not the virtual run on the eSeries, but how well you did IRL, as we like to say, in real life. Here's you winning a race in Sydney. How good was that?
Yeah, that was a mega moment, obviously. So good for myself, BJR, the whole team. Just to start that kind of season again with a bit of a bang, which is really cool. So yeah, mega year, 2 wins, another podium at Darwin, a pole position and a front row lockout for BJR was pretty special.
Yeah, 7th in the championship as well, which is a really good run.
Yeah, it was cool. Our goal was 6th, and you know, Bathurst killed us. We normally have a few races to bounce back if Bathurst doesn't go to plan, but it's all good.
And of course, it wouldn't be Nick Percat without his 2IC here to cheer him on. He's here, he's actually in the studio, and yes, he's a very good boy. He's even got the tail flapping around as well. He became a bit of an all-star himself during the All-Star eSeries.
Yeah, he's awake, so look, his tail's moving. We've woken him up. Look at him.
That's the most animation we've had out of him on the show ever. All right, let's check out what we've got coming up tonight. This is going to be a lot of fun. Jonathan, 2 big races around this amazing track.
Yeah, the first time we've ever had 2 races in our eSeries. We've either gone with a 3-race format or a 1-race enduro format. So this is going to be entertaining. 1 compulsory pit stop for each. We'll go through that with a bit more depth in our Repco race facts. Mount Panorama never disappoints. Never disappoints.
And how good is this? The live shots of everyone ready to go. We've got a couple of big-name wildcards joining us tonight, which includes Brodie Kostecki from Penrite Racing. He was really quick. And this guy, Zane Goddard from Matt Stone Racing. Zane struggled a little bit during the eSeries, but Nick, Brodie in particular was very quick.
He was very quick and carried that same aggressive driving style that he had. He's woken up, he's off his phone. Same aggressive driving style we saw him use at Bathurst this year. He had that same style in the sim, which is really cool.
Yeah, new simulator for him tonight, driving out of Norwell, so that could be a bit of a difficult thing for him to get his head around. All right, let's check out the Repco Champ points and how it looks coming into night number 3. Change in the leaderboard last week. Josh Rogers goes up to the top, Dane Warren down to 3rd, but your boy Madison Down looking very good there in 2nd.
He's looking very handy, so if he has a clean night, I think hopefully he can close that gap, but obviously Josh has been seriously fast, and hopefully the other 2 BJR cars have a good night, and we can see all of them inside that top 10.
Yeah, one thing we get asked quite a lot is how does it compare iRacing to the real thing? You've driven Bathurst both in iRacing and the real life world this year. How do the 2 compare? How real is it?
It's very good because obviously iRacing scans the track, so that's why you see even like you said, the letterboxes are there for all the houses around the circuit. And the one thing I do notice driving my simulator versus a real thing is there's probably just a little bit more wheel spin on iRacing. So as you drop down into the grate, the engine's flaring with wheel spin, and it gets very dicey heading down into there. So I think that's why we see more crashes on iRacing over the top, because the car probably moves around a little bit more than what we have in real life. But other than that, it's mega.
For people who are new to the eSeries, the realism is what grabs you the first time you see it. Let's check out how real Bathurst looks on our next level racing preview.
Here we go. Bathurst, Mount Panorama needs no introduction. So we're coming out of Murray's to begin the lap and on towards the start-finish straight. Lowest point of the circuit, over 100 metres of elevation change around here. Spot the 100-metre board and blip the throttle as you left foot brake. At least I like to left foot brake. And on towards the mountain straight. Bit of a break to prepare yourself for the trip up to the top of the mountain. Over the crest, on cold tires, you can really lose the car through there. And then Griffin's Bend. Hug the inside, use all the camber, get on the power nice and early because it gives you the best grip. Onto the cutting, tough to trail brake, one of the toughest corners on the circuit. And hug the wall as close as possible to the inside. That's where you find the most lap time. There are tenths to be gained around there. Through Reed Park, the scene of many accidents, and past Frog Hollow or the Metal Grate. Best corner in the world is Frog Hollow. And on towards the top of the mountain and through McPhillamy. I'm gonna dip 2 wheels here on the grass just so I can feel like Scott McLaughlin for 2 seconds. And then be so patient and gentle as you downshift into Skyline. Again, another scene of so many accidents over the years. Through the dipper. This car feels so good. It's just stuck to the road. And on towards the elbow. Right up close to the wall on the inside. That's where all the grip is, where all the camber is, the angle of the track. And iRacing have done a splendid job with this venue. All the houses are laser scanned exactly the same. Even the letterboxes have been produced exactly as you would see them in the real world. And have a listen to this through the chase. Downshift all the way to second gear. 110 kilometers an hour. Lose the rear end on the exit, just like Chaz Mostert in his awesome victory with Paul Morris many years ago. And on towards the toughest corner on the circuit, in my opinion, Murray's. You always get that wrong more than you do right, and then across the line for a lap of Bathurst.
This is a hell of a lap. Nice work, Jono. You had the wheels off McPhillamy. You were sideways Chaz Mostert style. It's a good thing you had the Next Level Racing seatbelts on, mate.
And with the Next Level Racing equipment, it was a 1:57 officially, ladies and gentlemen.
Right. I'm sure it was. Somewhere around a 2:10. I saw him record that. It was about a 2:10, 2:11. A bit slower than the speeds we saw in coin qualifying. Have a punt at what they would have been doing. 2:03s. Actually very close to the real thing. 2:03.8s were just about as quick as we got today. What was your quickest lap at Bathurst in the All-Stars? Did you get into the threes?
I qualified in the top 10
shootout. Yeah.
Yep. So I must have been thereabouts.
Yeah,
I pulled my socks up every time there was a shootout. You've got to make them all.
You've got to make the shootouts for Brad Jones. It does differ, doesn't it, with the qualifying conditions. So it was a little bit slower than what we saw in the All-Stars. And in the end, it was Coin Poll Award number 4 in season 2020 for Josh Rogers. I mean, he is just so strong. It was a 20-minute qualifying session, Jonathan, but he had to earn this one on his second hot lap.
Not only that, but it's 7 out of 10 for his career. So you put it in those terms, it's impressive. He's $500 richer too, which is good to know. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, he's racing from Germany this afternoon. So he's moved over there and joined a professional sim racing team, and that's why he's made the move internationally.
Yeah, how cool is that? So he's racing from Gronau, Germany, where he lives with a bunch of sim racing guys. They live it, they breathe it, and that's why he's getting these sorts of results. $500 worth of digital currency from Coin going to Josh Rogers once again. But he won't be allowed in our Seiko 5 shootout because he's already won one of the watches. So we'll take the next 5 quickest through to a 2-lap shootout around Mount Panorama. And this is what they're fighting for. The Street Fighter 5 Guile Seiko limited edition watch. Who's going to win that one tonight? Rolling to a start in the Seiko 5 shootout. They're queuing up behind Dane Warren. Can he take his first watch here today? Cruelly denied last week by Jake Burton. Contact on the opening lap, and he's got another BJR car alongside him in Madison Down. Josh Anderson, Andrew Gilliam and Richard Hampstead out the back. 2 Tickford cars, a Walkinshaw car, a BJR car, and Team Sydney lining up at Mount Panorama. And the green flag is in the air. Good start from the outside of row 2 and having a crack potentially at the lead down into turn 1. Couldn't quite make that one stick, Andrew Gilliam. And Dane Warren's going to lead us up Mountain Straight. And now the games begin.
First appearance for Anderson and Hampstead in this Seiko 5 shootout. Warren's got to defend the inside.
Oh, banging doors already. Now, Nick, what we've learnt from these Seiko 5 shootouts is the rule book pretty much doesn't apply to this.
Yeah, I can see that. It's a good bit of flat wheeling up Mountain Straight there. And what are we going to go? go 3 wide. Is he going to break early or do a Jamie and go big?
Go big. Go real big. Team Sydney does. Josh Anderson nearly pulls that off.
No.
And Warren bowls wide and Gilliam's gone. And Warren hangs onto the lead somehow. You love these Seiko 5 shootouts. They don't disappoint. Some of the best racing we'll get tonight as they go side by side through Reed Park. And Dane Warren hanging onto this one by his fingernails. Good stuff. Love to see it. Dane Warren wants that watch.
So next best overtaking spot, surely the chase. I wouldn't be surprised if someone shoves it down at the elbow as we ride on board with Anderson here.
Precedence has been set early here that they're going to have an absolute crack at this one. Big slide from Madison down, nearly threw it away, exiting the dipper. Damage already on Dane Warren's car. How bad is that damage? Is it going to affect his straight line speed down Conrad? Oh, nailed the exit.
Good exit. He's gone. He's probably broken close enough to the toe there. He'll be able to hang on at the chase and just needs to survive one more lap.
He's still trying to break that toe. Working the wheel down Conrad. 280 virtual clicks through the chase. Madison down, not close enough.
We've seen many drivers throw away the lead here over the years, so race is still on. But look how much the draft is worth here. Madison Down's clawed back 10th by 10th, 3/10 through the chase, now 2/10 into Murray's. Next best overtaking spot, definitely down Mountain Straight. We saw what happened last time round. Madison Down's got to nail him here. He can't do it at the end of this final lap.
One to go. Dane Warren, the leader, somehow held on up through the cutting. Quickest guy down Conrad last time by was Richard Hampstead in 4th. So huge toe out the back, 295 clicks, 11 Ks quicker than the leader. And now we go again. Over the hump and down Mountain Straight. Dane Warren makes his intentions clear.
I don't know if I'll be going the outside on the final lap of this, but here we go.
It's the hold your breath Australia moment. It didn't quite work out, just like it didn't work out for Whincup back in 2013. Warren hanging onto this one, up through the cutting again.
I think if he can just stay close enough, there's a bit of damage to the back of that car too, so that might also slow the car down the straight. So you just need to be, you know, this distance, and he should be able to actually nearly drive past him down Conrad.
All right, can he stay with him across the top? Needs to commit big time. Warren will know that he'll be a sitting duck if he doesn't open that gap now. Needs to go. Just grazed the wall, Madison Down.
I feel like 3 of them grazed the wall there. Saw a lot of sparks. Hopefully Warren can do this. This is his 3rd attempt. He's been in the most Seiko 5 shootouts out of anyone in this 5-car field. What an awesome shot as they drop downhill for the final time. I think he's got it, Chad, but I don't want to call it too early.
Oh, bit of a wiggle. No, not the time to lock the left front. Does he get away with it? Last time down Conrad, nailed the exit again, despite the lockup. Can he shake the toe? Watch out for Josh Anderson in 3rd. That Team Sydney car is quick as well. Hampstead has just been dropped off out the back. A fight between Warren, Down, and maybe Anderson there to pick up some scraps. Last time through the chase. Still not close enough to have a go under brakes. Dane Warren hits his marks. 1 corner to go this time by. Oh, Down's pretty close. Can he do this, Nick?
Just do it.
Have a crack. Dane Warren parks it.
Pump and run.
Down goes to the outside. Can he switch it back to the inside? Fighting for the Street Fighter 5 watch. And it was a real street fight, this one. 3 wide to the finish. What a race. What a 2-lap Seiko 5 shootout. And Dane Warren gets the watch. Well done. That was a huge precursor to the action to come tonight. Stick with us.
The Repco Supercars Pro eSeries is proudly brought to you by Repco. It starts with the parts.
Hi, it's these, thanks.
Good choice. That'd be $52.99, thanks.
Thanks.
Repco, it starts with the parts. From the outside, who would know what lies beneath? Unleash it with a machine as savage as you are.
This is how legends are made.
Lenovo Legion. Stylish outside, savage inside.
Hi, it's these, thanks.
Good choice. That'd be $52.99, thanks.
Thanks.
Repco, it starts with the parts.
The Repco Supercars Pro eSeries is proudly brought to you by Repco. It starts with the parts.
This track. What a track. Renowned, no, revered the world over. It's had some moments, if these walls could talk. Every corner is remembered for something. Every year there's something that happens that lives long in the memory.
Tickford cars have come together a disaster.
Fire and flips at Griffin's Bend. The cutting, well, need we say more?
These two do not like each other.
So many have come to grief across the top of the mountain. Down the other side, Chaz Mostert. You still wince watching it.
A shocking accident that's written this car off.
And just ask Fabian Coulthard what can happen at the chase.
And that is an almighty crash.
You see, this is more than just a racetrack. This is the one that all drivers want to win. This isn't Monaco, Silverstone or Spa. It's better.
It's a supreme test for team and machine and driver.
This is Mount Panorama.
Ooh, that'll make you bump. Gotta love Bathurst, and it's getting everyone excited. Doesn't matter if it's the virtual world or not. We're going racing there tonight. And Nick's just about to talk us through the circuit. But first, some breaking news. How's Nelson going?
He's awake. Here we go.
All right, he's the official dog of Supercars.
They're going to pay you for that.
How many more are we going to get in before the end of the night? I'm looking forward to seeing what's
invoicing
next.
tomorrow, don't worry.
Yeah. A few packs of schmackos coming his way, hopefully. All right, let's get into it. Talk us through this amazing 6.2K circuit, Nick, because it's a special place for everyone, particularly you, because you've won there.
Yes, I was very fortunate to get a win there with Garth, my first time there, so very cool. But it is one where it's a very special bit of road. You know, I think we all do it when you arrive to Bathurst on the Tuesday, generally. You kind of nearly get goosebumps as you're rocking up to it. So, as we see on the virtual track here, we're already at turn 5, coming up under the tree, I call it, heading down towards the Great, which is actually the scariest bit of road because you put that mirror right up against the wall. It's super fast and massive commitment. And then from here on in, it's actually quite picturesque. You have big crowds on your right through McPhillamy, and then you have the nice farmland on the left as you dip down over Skyline through the S's down towards the Dipper. But it's actually a spot where you can get into a lot of trouble, like we saw Chaz. If you have a bit of a slide off the Dipper, you're out of position all the way down to Forest Elbow. And Forest Elbow, massively important. You need to get a big exit off there to get down Conrod Well, 300k an hour through the kink here. And then the big one, how late do you go on the brakes? So it's a very cool corner. And to end the lap, Murray's crazy hard. Normally rear lock off the road there. If you get a bit too carried away.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what you're playing. If you're an iRacing or any of the console games, if you have a good lap and a good run across the top, you throw it away at Murray's. It's just so depressing. So what's going to happen tonight? They're going to be doing about 290 Ks in the tow down Conrod. There's going to be lots to talk about in our Repco race facts. So Jonathan, let's get over to you, buddy. Talk us through what we can expect tonight from our first race.
Race 7 of the championship, one of 2 races this evening. 1 compulsory pit stop will be required in each race, but the drivers are only required to take tyres with that 1 times CPS, as it's known in the rules. Fuel will be required, but it won't take longer than it will to take those 4 tyres. 150 points for the winner in both races today. The first race's grid will be determined by qualifying. The second will be a reverse grid based on race 7's results. Also, I can predict, Chad and Nick, that there will most likely be, and I'm predicting, a Repco safety car intervention in today's event.
Right, because we haven't had one so far this year. Now, how is that actually going to affect things, and what's the protocol with pitting, making your pit stop procedure around that?
We're going to need...
That's what we're going to have to find out.
We're going to need like 10, 15 minutes, I think, to explain that. It's going to take a while. It's complicated, and so we don't know. I'd say 50% chance the safety car's coming out, but let's see. 1
out of 2 times it happens every time. Let's check out our Seiko 5 starting grid for the first race of the evening. Race 7 in the championship. And it's you-know-who on the front row. It's a Walkinshaw Andretti United lockout. 30 years after the team won their very first Bathurst race here back in 1990. Behind them, we've got Madison down 3rd in the championship. Josh Anderson, his best qualifying so far this year. Andrew Gilliam and an all Tickford row number 3. Tickford cars starting alongside each other at Bathurst. That'll get your attention. Jordan Caruso, 7th tonight. He's showing a couple of podiums already so far this year alongside Jake Burton. Jackson Suzlin-Harlow, change of livery. He's in Nick's car tonight alongside Jared Philsell. Sam Blacklock, a winner last week alongside the Seiko 5 car and Cooper Webster. Fawzan El Nabi a bit further down the order than he'd like, along with Ethan Grigg-Galt further back than usual. Ben Smith, not bad, 15th tonight alongside Harley Haber. He won the All-Star race here, the last race of the All-Stars. Brady Myers, 17th. Josh Muggleton, 18th. He's got some beef and a score to settle with Josh Rogers. Got to try and catch him first. Emily Jones out of 19th and Job Stewart, youngest in the field. And then we get to most of our Supercars drivers. Golding out of 21st, Blackhall 22nd. And have a look at the All-Star cast on the last row. Zane Goddard, 23rd. And Brody Kostecki couldn't get a good lap in. That's a new sim for him tonight that he's trying out. And I wonder if that's been an effect there. So how far, Nick, can he get off the back? There's a live look at everyone getting ready.
Well, he's at Paul Morris's house.
Yeah.
Paul Morris won it from the back with Chaz.
Oh, from 24th on the grid.
So I'm going to call it.
Yes.
Well
Well done. It's going to happen right here tonight. That's tip of the night from Nick. If that comes in, I'm buying you something very special. Seiko 5 watch. Let's go green racing now, and we are off and running at Mount Panorama. Barney whips that green flag, and the Walkinshaw Andretti United drivers steam down into turn 1. Line astern, job done for them so far as we climb Mountain Straight for the first of 16 laps. And this is going to be a very big race. There's going to be tyre conservation, maybe even some fuel conservation later in the race. And is Dane Warren going to have a crack early at his teammate? He's sizing him up down the Mountain Straight. Not close enough up at Griffin's Bend.
Very clean start for this race. We had a very eventful start last year where they were going alongside each other through the cutting for those who watched our 2019 eSeries. Not a great overtaking spot. Warren's got to make a pass here early on. We know Rogers has a tendency to run away with these sprint races.
They were doing 2:03s in qualifying. So just to give you a bit of a form guide, very similar to what we see in the real world supercars racing. Madison down, going with the leaders early. Good start for Brad Jones Racing.
Yeah, he's got to keep the pressure on them because obviously they've been the form team this year, and if you can just stay there, we've seen in qualifying the slipstream effect was quite big, so keep the pressure on. You should be able to look after the tyre there and just keep sucking up to the back of them in the slipstream.
Fawzan El Nabi again on lap 1, falling to some issues. All he wanted was a clean round, Chad. We'll try and figure out what happened to the BP Ultimate Mustang, but yet again for Fawzan, he's a bit of a Bathurst specialist.
And I think Josh Anderson may have had a netcode issue or something similar because he fell off the racetrack at turn 1 and he was starting on the 2nd row. So disaster for Team Sydney. They were on for a pretty good result tonight. So a couple of pesky issues getting in the way of some of their more seasoned campaigners, and leading us down Conrad for the first time, it's Josh Rogers.
Pit window opens lap 4. We're expecting the drivers to come in around laps 4 and 10. It's not a compulsory window. And you'd want to come in early, Chad, this time by if you think there will be a Repco safety car intervention.
Anyone taking it?
No, it's a brave person who pits on lap 1. Just keep an eye in the background if anyone's going to duck in. long way home on one set of tyres if you pit on lap 1. Now, Nick was pointing wildly at the timing screen and giving me the high 5 symbol, and I'm guessing he's talking about Brody Kostecki.
+5.
+5. Well done. He's up early. Brody Kostecki moving through the field from last on the grid.
And was it, you told us earlier that Anton's spotting for him, so they've actually swapped roles. Anton was driving in the E-Series earlier in the year with Brody spotting for him, and now they've swapped. So I texted Anton before and asked what happened in qualifying, and he said Brody just didn't get it together.
Yeah, messed that one up.
Yep, I think that was the polite way of putting it.
In a few different words.
New colours for Anton next year too. Announced during, what was that, in the past 7 days?
Yes, not these colours anymore. So he's going to be switching over to Shell V-powered colours. Here is Brody Kostecki in the Penrite Racing car.
Is that his car for next year?
Maybe. I think he's used a few panels to get his way up 5 spots. Check this thing out. He has batted this thing completely sideways on the opening lap of the race.
We see him aggressive in real life, but I think he takes it to another level.
That is good.
So
putting him off the back was always going to be fireworks.
We'll give him the benefit of the doubt. We'll say that car looked like that before the race began.
That was Richard Hampstead having a massive wiggle coming out of McPhillamy, and they're queuing up behind Jordan Caruso. What a cool shot that is down through the dipper.
Oh, this is going to bottleneck heading into the elbow. And this is where you need to box early. The tyres last 5 laps here before they plateau. And so if you're Jared Filsell, you know you're quicker than 8th position. Do you box this lap and get rid of all this traffic that's hampering your pace? We know Jordan Caruso's quick. 2 podiums this season, but he's got a mad train behind of 3 very experienced E-Series competitors.
Burton on the attack, Filsell defensive. And Hampstead also working in the background. Suzlin Harlow to the inside of Blacklock. Actually, I think that might have been defensive because Blacklock was on the charge. And anyone going for the first lap stop? Yes, it's lap 2 and Hampstead comes in. Have a look at this pack. Oh, wild stuff.
I'm surprised more people didn't actually pit there because this is such a big battle pack.
Whoa.
Even before they start the next lap, they're going to be 6-7 tenths down on a decent lap time just from the run off turn 1. So one car pits, and I think you'll find that's going to be a massive undercut.
Yep, there is Josh Anderson's car parked on Mountain Straight. Could that be potential cause for our very first Repco safety car of the series as they still brawl up Mountain Straight? Filsell to the inside. And he's certainly got the overlap. Blocking the right side tyres. Can he pull it up? Can Burton get the switch back? Good racing, and Blacklock's in the fence in the background. There was a bit going on in the background there.
You called it, Nick. That Seiko 5 car of Webster tried to make it 3 wide, and we've seen that not work out well back in the real world in motorsport. Didn't work out well this time around.
He didn't end up upside down like Holdsworth when Ingle went down the grass like that.
2014, late race restart. And that was a pretty wild moment that took place down at turn 2. Thankfully, Blacklock bounced off that tyre wall and was able to keep it going. He now resumes in front of James Golding, one of 3 drivers in the field who raced in the real thing this year along with Nick.
Richard Hampstead had a 9.8 second pit time, so for those who may be new to iRacing, that's randomly generated from around 7 to 10 seconds. So that is probably one of the worst times you can get. 9 seconds is decent though, any driver will take that. Here's a Lenovo Savage moment for the burst of the evening.
Yeah, first Lenovo Savage moment of the night, and had a feeling it might involve the Penrite car. Oh, and to be fair, El Nabi came sliding across, maybe didn't know that he was there. What's your take on that one, Nick? I'll leave that stuff to you, I reckon, tonight. We keep going as well.
His game mate there, but yeah, I think that was very awkward. Cold tyres up to the cutting, half a spin going on, and Brody just on the outside, so that's where his car's a bit battered, but both of them kind of did well to relatively keep going where they were, besides obviously car at 98 miles an hour.
And for the first time in E-Series this year, we are going to get fast repairs happening, and that happens during the pit stop process. So that was the minor contact between Cooper Webster and Sam Blacklock, but it had major consequences. Look at the spots he lost.
You've been in the wall there, haven't you, Nick?
Yeah, and
you won it.
Now go on to win it.
Yeah, it's going to work out just nicely, just like Paul Morris in 2014 as well. It's the champion's wall, that one. Have a look at this. Pit stop action. BP Ultimate Pit Lane is alive right now. And as the staring contest going on between Ethan Grigg-Gault and Ben Smith trying to get into their boxes.
That's so difficult for Grigg-Gault because he has to spot his pit bay. That's what this complex iRacing pit stops do to you. He scored a podium here last year, don't forget, Chad. He held off Dane Warren, and he comes out potentially ahead of Ben Smith in the Castrol Racing Mustang.
It's an exciting race off pit road, and this is an exciting race up Mountain Straight. One of the BP Ultimate cars. I think that's El Nabi to the inside of Jake Blackall makes that move count. Nicely done. Two BP cars running together now.
I like that they've all pitted early, but they've all pitted as a group of 5 or 6 of them, so
you don't get the advantage.
They just brought the race to pit lane, and here we are again. They're just continuing it on. So
any chance of getting some clean racetrack? Not to be for these two. Is green bad luck? We're about to find out as Smith is sideways out of turn 2 and cold tyres.
So you mentioned fast repairs, Chad, before. That's obviously when you're able to come into the pits, just tick a little button, your spotter can do it for you. All these drivers have spotters. I feel like I heard someone whack the wall as we ride on board with the Kelly Racing Mustang of Ben Smith. And what that means is you get a free refresh. It's like a brand new car just delivered to you at the click of a button.
So all right. Very handy for Kostecki.
Very handy to get that fixed up. Good chance to check out some Seiko 5 telemetry. Nick, talk us through the top of the mountain.
Yeah, so this is where I was talking about. On the left, you see all the nice, beautiful Bathurst farmland there. But then down through the S is the hardest part of the track. Very hard to control the front locking, and especially the dipper where the road drops away just there. And getting on the gas off the dipper is way more important than people kind of give it credit for, because the run down to Forest Elbow is very important, and then a very good exit off here. Kind of sets up the next 1.5 kilometres or however long Conrod is, and he should be chasing the toe here. He'll still get a little bit of a slipstream effect from that far back, but yeah, that's a magic bit of road down through the S's to the dipper.
More pit stops going on. Andrew Gilliam in the Boost Mobile car has made that switch back across and to the Boost Mobile colours, and he brings Jordan Caruso with him. Caruso's been on the podium already a couple of times. No relation, if you're wondering.
You won't see your leaders come in because there's no clear track for Josh Rogers at the moment. At least I don't think, looking at the gaps. Oh,
this is on. That's Brady Myers on the defensive. DJ Myers, as we've been calling him, as you probably guess why. And he's in a bit of a Penrite Erebus Sanger at the moment. Here he is, working away in the Pioneer DJ set.
That's amazing.
I love it. It's so good. And the two Penrite cars are working him at the moment. Also, Blacklock back out of the pits and straight into this battle pack as well. Looking off screen there, he may have a data screen to the right-hand side. A lot of drivers run separate data screens. Most drivers have multiple screens going at once. Some have 3 screens just for their vision in the racing, what's happening.
Myers finished 9th here last year. Right now, looking decent to get some points or scrap points down the back of the pack. So Phil Sell here, is he ahead of Burton now after the pit stop phase? So the Red Bull Holden Racing Team car is now up ahead of Nick Percat. Or no, it's not Nick Percat, excuse me.
There twice. Look at me go.
It's impressive.
It's a paradox.
We've got all the Percat liveries rolling out tonight. Now he's in the toe. He's going to get a pretty good toe down here, down Conrod.
Nick's in the toe or Jake?
Nick Percat about to pull out and make the move down here.
Okay, he should send it up the inside.
Here we go. Nick says do it. And Jake's not quite close enough. What I love about the BJR operation for this year, Nick, is you've actually rolled out your real-life engineers for this, which is pretty cool. And a lot of these guys are learning from the real-world engineers, so their own spotters. So Brock, somebody who works with Madison Down, is learning off Tony Woodward, which is pretty cool.
That is very cool. I think, yeah, the BJR guys loved it, especially Tony. He was very into it with Todd Hazelwood, and then I think my engineer AE did it.
Yeah, I think AE's
around, or he might be on again.
Pretty sure he's on Jake's car tonight.
Okay, that's good. I think he said he rage quit iRacing last week from what I on the down low from what I heard.
Good inside scoop.
But yeah, they love it.
All right, so down at turn 2, we had recently this move on a Repco race replay between Sam Blacklock and Ethan Grigg-Dahl.
Please be clean.
And that's tight down there. Sam's already had one moment in the fence. Is he going to get another bite off the wall on the outside? He is. We've got the 2-car tag team down there between the 2 green buggies. And then in the background, trying to get through in the background at least. Maybe going to make this one stick. Penrite Racing car of Job Stewart couldn't quite make that one happen. And that was a tough couple of corners for Sam Blacklock.
What a cracking scrap.
Yeah.
So we talked about Phil Sell. I might have said this wrong. I can't remember, but I said he entered the lane. He didn't. He entered the lane as soon as you saw that on shot. So he should appear ahead of Burton. But right now, Richard Hampstead has done a good job with his undercut to jump himself up in good track position. Let's see where he is relatively. Here he is on screen. The problem is his tyre life for about the next 2-3 laps is going to be at a disadvantage as Caruso in the Repco Racing Mustang hits the wall through Reed Park, and About 2-3 laps from now, that's all that Caruso has to make a passing maneuver. After about 2-3 laps, his tyres will be the same as Hampstead, so he's got to get it done as soon as possible.
Oh, pouring the pressure on down through the dipper. Love that quiet moment when the revs just die and the wheels come up on the left-hand side. And if you love the sound of iRacing, then crank it up right now with the short sounds of the game. You'll love this. That was tight down to the chase, and watch out because here comes Phil Cell on the outside. Just saw a flash of Red Bull colours in the mirror. Oh, that's tight, puts him in the fence. Phil Cell bounces off the fence at Murray's and continues. Meanwhile, leaders have been in. And this is going to be really tight at the exit as Andrew Gilliam,
this is for the lead,
has taken the lead of this race.
Is that the biggest undercut we've seen?
That is a huge undercut for Andrew Gilliam. Caught us both off guard, and now he has to fight and defend for his life.
Wow, the undercut's worth a second.
Bravo.
This is awesome.
Bravo, Tickford. Well done, Andrew Gilliam. He's got the merch on the wall, and he is repping it right now for Boost Mobile Racing in Tickford. And he is going to be seriously nervous for the next 9 laps with the best in the world breathing down his virtual neck. Josh Rogers pouring the pressure on from Germany.
And good opportunity for his teammate Warren to snatch the win. You can't let your teammate run away with the title.
Can stay on him here. Now, how does Rogers approach this? Picked up a 10-second penalty for that move at Montreal last week, late in the race, which scattered a few cars, particularly upset Josh Muggleton. Quite vocal about that this week.
And how is that, Nick? Short-term memory after a big collision the week before? Is that what you do?
You'd be on the rear bar a little bit, wouldn't you? Reminding them what happened. This could play into the hands of the 2 BJR cars. They weren't actually that far behind the 2 Walkinshaw cars. And then if they enter a big battle pack, which it looks like it's going to heat up, they could just slow down a little bit and we could end up with a very big end to this race.
That's a very good point. It is a BJR 1, 2, 3 at the moment, albeit they haven't pitted yet as now. Oh, wow. That's a big look to the inside.
That's what we want. Hold him up.
And Gilliam stays true at the lead. Rogers couldn't make it stick, and this is playing beautifully into the hands of Madison Down.
Surely got the inside, followed the boost car.
Gilliam on the block. Does Dane Warren move through and follow his teammate?
Warren's a bit nervous around his teammate, isn't he? He doesn't ended up the inside.
Gilliam was wide for a moment and slow off the corner, and Rogers got the drive. And that might just be all that Gilliam can hold on for.
So I look at the gaps now. Pit transit time's about 25.5, 26 seconds. Madison Down's going to come alongside these 3 when he makes his pit stop, if everything goes right. But there's the lead for Rogers, and let's see if Warren can make his way past.
Warren on the outside, trying the Craig Lowndes line from 94. Gilliam needs to be perfect on the brakes.
Oh, no.
Oh, has a slide. Nick Percat jumps in his seat for a moment, was just about to take out the leader.
It had that feel about it.
Yep.
I think Warren should have... The racecraft wasn't great down there into the last corner. He could have followed the boost car in at Murray's, and when he ran wide, he would have actually ended up with a lead. And now, instead, he's just letting his teammate drive away into the distance.
On the wrong side.
They're running about 48 to 50 front brake bias. Is that what you'd be running in the real thing?
That is very close to us. We're around there, that 50, 52. So it's pretty good for what they're doing on the sim.
Yeah, and what dampers are you running? No, that's what you meant.
What are they? They're
Supershocks now, yeah. They are Petters by Supershock, to be exact. Big shout out to Oscar Furinato, who would love going through all the data on iRacing, I'm sure.
He would send your tyre pressures across too, I think.
Crew from Supershock.
Also very easy because we have a minimum.
Yes, about 17 PSI. And also Scott Petto, who won our All-Star eSeries Celeb Challenge as well. Just to give the Petters brand a shout out as well as we turn on to Conrad and run down. Warren needs to make this move stick. And Madison Down, has he negated that advantage by going around for another lap?
Clear air is everything. We saw this in the reverse grid race at Belle-Isle as Warren... Oh, not again.
Oh, Gilliam on the defensive this time to car number 2. And that is an awesome move from the middies. Commodore around the outside to make that one stick. And now he's been relegated that extra spot down in the pits with all 3 BJR cars. Team play this one.
Brad's on the headset, you reckon?
He's made the team call.
Made him go a little bit longer, which we kind of traditionally do too. So I think, they might come out close to third, but I think didn't gain enough in that transition period.
10.3 second pit stop, 3/10 slower than Josh Rogers. He will have tyre life potentially to fight with here, but that's about it.
So we saw this in the reverse grid race at Belle Isle. Madison Downs stayed out because, like I said last round, everyone was talking undercut, and he was the only one not to do it, and ended up with clear air. But right now, for the next 4 or 5 laps, he's going to be about a second a lap faster than the rest of the bunch as Jake Burton makes his way past Jared Filsell. This is a scrap for the top 5.
And he was behind him before that pit stop sequence. So that is a change for position, which has probably come about from the scrap that Filsell had, which led to the scrapes down the right-hand side of that car.
Yeah, exactly. So that Filsell, when he got fenced at the last corner, that's cost him that position there. So this car 8 just bring the pressures up nicely, and he should be able to skip away from this group with the extra tyre grip. But I reckon Warren will be kicking himself a bit. He worked so hard at the start of the race to stay with his teammate and gave up that second, and it'll be hard to bring that back.
Yeah, it's going to be a long way back for him from there. As we ride on board and down the hill, down through the dipper.
So a couple of other drivers down your field. I spoke about Ethan Griggold in the Shannon's car. He is a Bathurst specialist, but one thing I spoke to him about during the week, Chad, is just the tough schedule these drivers have. 12 tracks, or correct myself, 11 tracks in 6 weeks in a row. And it can really take its toll on you come testing time. They're lucky they're using fixed setups, otherwise it would be even worse and even tougher.
Burton shaking the tail down Conrod. Filsell didn't want to play the game and chase him all the way down Conrod just yet. There is Jared Filsell live from Adelaide. Made that switch across, and here in Melbourne, albeit from Perth originally, Jake Burton. Said this earlier, very brave man moving to Melbourne this year.
Very brave. And he runs the camera facing him, even braver.
Even braver. Here we go. Madison down on the outside of Andrew Gilliam. Gilliam trying to squeeze back across, leave him just enough of a car width room at the entrance, and holds on to that spot for now. Only driver running virtual reality in the field, Madison down.
You tried that before?
No, because I get worried that if someone walks in the room, they're going to punch me.
I thought I was the only one.
Awesome.
Glad to know there's someone else with that mindset.
Hard to keep an eye on what Nelson's up to with the VR goggles on.
Exactly.
Still side by side. This time Down's going to make it stick surely. He's got the grip on the outside. Gilliam rubs and leans on him through turn 2. Good racing. Good respect shown from Andrew Gilliam. Gave him only just enough room to get through.
Gilliam's racecraft's been really good. He's obviously... He went really early with the pit stop sequence, so he's on the worst tyre life, and the fight he's put up to him, brilliant, and good to see. He's not had anyone off the road. He's always defending, which is good to see because he knew he was in a good position. So if he keeps it clean from here, it'll be a bit of a battle for Jake to get to him.
Those two were fighting in the V8 Scops on the weekend at Spa, and we have gone Repco safety car. So he got that move made just in time in the Cup Cadet car. He will have the fresh tyre life, about 2 laps fresher than the appliances online and Dane Warren car. So a good chance to virtually clean up this racetrack and queue them up again for a restart now that everyone's had their BP Ultimate pit stops.
Good chance to check out all the letterboxes that iRacing have made.
And the winery.
Believe it or not, I've got some facts for you about how iRacing developed this track. So it was laser scanned in 2012. And it was brought to iRacing in 2013. They received permission from the Bathurst Regional Council to take thousands of photos. It took about 2 years of man hours to develop.
Wow.
And not only that, but they modeled everything from the houses to where the leaves even fall on the racetrack.
How cool is that? And also time of day dependent. There's a Nelson update. Woof woof. Just having a dog of the day down here at the moment. He never misses a restart. No, he never miss a restart.
He's looking at live timing, I think.
He's keeping an eye on the BJR cars and where Madison Down's going to restart here.
Well, he did pass me some information because he is an engineer, as we all know, that the BJR cars have probably got the best tyres in the field right now. So I don't know what happens during a safety car. You'll probably be able to give us a bit of an insight into iRacing and tyres cooling off and going again.
We spoke about this before, how you've got to manage temperatures more than tyre life. I think right now in this pace car period, there's really nothing you can do. Your tyres are just going to give up, even though you're going at low speeds. So I think for Madison Down now, he's going to have to do it on talent rather than actual tyre life. And this is going to be a very slow Repco safety car period. Now, we should explain the rules. The pit lane's closed.
Yes.
This time by, there will be a green light, and any driver who wants to enter the lane can. And if I'm Zane Goddard, Josh Anderson, if I'm Jake Blackwell at the back, there is nothing to lose.
True, particularly because they're going to get a very juicy starting spot for the next race. And Josh Anderson, if he starts on the pole, is going to be very difficult to beat from there. But wouldn't put it past Josh Rogers to win one from the back. He has been extremely quick in the reverse grid races so far. Bit of a theme. For every track we go to, we're going to give the best Google review, the best one I could find this week.
Here we go.
4 stars from Alan. He says, awesome place, would have been 5 stars if there was no speed limit. And if anyone's ever been to Bathurst, you can understand exactly what he means. So cool that you can drive this track any day of the year if there's not a race meeting on. But it's very difficult to do the speed limit around here, and they're always watching.
I actually drove it up there in my Let's Go Motorhomes motorhome this year. Managed to hold it flat the whole way up to make sure I got it up there with Nelson, and we had a photo. It was beautiful.
Did you lock up into Skyline, perhaps? No lockups?
No, didn't do the lounge when he was in that Monaro, the lunatic. That was probably the best footage of the whole Bathurst 1000 weekend.
Jared Philsell on screen. He's from South Australia. Now, you were the first ever winner of Bathurst from South Australia. You reckon Philsell's going to do it from 6th?
I like his aggressive driving style. He'll try, definitely, from what I've seen, but I'm not sure if he's got the pace of those 2 Walkinshaw cars.
All right, one of the cool things we got to do last year when we had you on the desk in Sydney for the E-Series was we got some fan questions going. So
yes.
I'm going to dive onto Facebook Live on the Supercars page where we are currently streaming.
I guess it'll all be about Nelson.
Yeah, it's probably going to be about Nelson. If you've got a question for Nick, shoot us through a question on the Facebook Live page. Straight up, Scotty says, ask Nick if BJR are going to go with the Camaro in 2022, or if you've got another manufacturer lined up. How's that one for a first question tonight?
Do we tell him?
What's the gossip from the floor? Nelson says $2 for Camaro.
Honestly, I will drive whatever Brad gives me. And he's very good at getting deals across the line, so
he is.
I'm not 100% sure what car will be in. It'll be a supercar, but more than likely, I imagine we'll be staying in the GM family. But
okay. What kind of breed is Nelson?
He's a chocolate Labrador. He turns 4 this weekend, so
happy birthday.
He'll get spoiled, no doubt, because he doesn't get spoiled every other day.
So keep the questions coming right now. If you're watching our live stream, there's plenty of people on the Facebook live stream right now. We're going to ask Nick some live questions while we're under Repco safety car conditions. I'll shoot through any barn burners you got for us. As always, they're probably going to be about Nelson. Okay, here's this one from Alex Barn. Would you like to have Fabs back in a BJR car? Fabian Coulthard wondering where he will end up now that he's no longer going to be at Shell V Power Racing.
Look,
you guys are pretty good mates when you both lived in Melbourne.
We are very good mates. We used to go karting all the time together. We actually live very close to each other, and we used to hang out quite a lot. So, yeah, you'd welcome him back. That's up to Brad as well. It's not my decision. Obviously, he's very speedy and, a very good talent, and it'd be surely he ends up on the grid again. It'd be extremely rude if he isn't.
We are going to have one more Repco safety car lap, you guys. So we'll keep them coming at the moment. Do you want to see crowds back at next year's races, Nick?
Oh, yes. I was very grateful that we got to go racing this year, and with the fans that we got to have at, say, Townsville and Bathurst, and even Sydney Motorsport Park for the second event was really cool. But it's just not... The atmosphere on the grid before the race is a lot different now, because not even allowed as many team members out there. So, yeah, I'd love to have crowds back. And just to... the fans are our sport, and without them, it's hard for us to go racing. And they're so passionate, and the questions you get asked, the people you meet when you're travelling to all these different racetracks is awesome. And, actually one of the best experiences I had was in the middle of the Northern Territory with Nelson sitting at this homestead. And there was a couple of Supercar fans were actually there, and they came and spoke to myself and Nelson as I was having a steak with him. So it was good to have that interaction again.
Adam wants to know, Nick, how upset about the Adelaide 500 are you? That one's
a loaded question.
That's going to strike a chord, I imagine.
I'm not happy about it. I don't think anyone's happy about it, but it's great to see, the opposition government are trying to get the race back, and they've just spent a bit of time in Sydney with the CEO of Supercars, Sean, and it needs to be back on the calendar. It's not just the race and the cars going around the track for me. It's it's the actual showing off what Adelaide has. You know, we have a lot to offer there, and for me as a young kid, I stood at the same corner every single year with my dad from when it was Formula 1 back in '88 up until, you know, now. Sometimes I still walk over the same spot. So, yeah, Adelaide need that back on the calendar, showcase what they've got, get the whole economy going and all that. Everyone knows I'm pretty passionate about it. I won't go into the politics of it, as in literal politics, but
fair enough.
We need to get it back on the calendar.
You and Todd Hazel would have been banging the drum very hard there.
It does inspire young kids. If you bring a 5-year-old out there who's watching the race, they could be the next Supercars champion.
Exactly
with this kid right
what
here.
happened to me. I vividly remember watching Lowndesy come from the back to win it after he got that penalty, and yeah, by emergence, all that stuff on the way out. But it's, I actually feel sorry for all the cafes, pubs, hotels, all that expect that to be there. And the current government had an opportunity to have it in November, and it would have been the best event of the year. Imagine crowning the champion at the Adelaide 500.
Yeah. Imagine the gala. That would have been a great night out.
Amazing. I'll take you out in Adelaide. I know where to go.
Here's a strange run from Kane. Do you want to race at an airport?
I've done some driver training at an airport in the UK with Rob Wilson.
Nice. IndyCar used to have an
They
airport
did.
track.
They used to be wild,
Yeah.
didn't they?
Cleveland?
St. Petersburg's an airport, isn't it?
Yeah, yep. St. Petersburg's on an airport.
What airport could we race at?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, Tullamarine.
Tullamarine.
Pretty quiet at the moment.
Tullamarine 500.
I can we go to Albury. Go to Albury.
All right. Who do you think's going to win the championship next year? That one comes from Adam.
Hard. I think people like Chaz Mostert are going to step up a little bit more. This will be good.
Hey, Nick, who's your favourite teammate? Wink. I won't say who that question's from.
Oh, no.
Jack Smith.
Todd Hazelwood.
Todd's always on the bloody Facebook.
Should have got that one. All right. As it looks like we're not too far away from a restart. Safety car lights are out on the Repco safety car.
So a few pit stops during that period. Emily Jones, Jake Blackhall, Zane Goddard, they all came out in the same last 3 positions. So no position changes for them, but they've got fresh rubber.
All right. Queuing it up for our very first restart of the eSeries. And how's this going to play out? Madison down with fresh tyre life, albeit about 12 k's fresher than the cars in front. Josh Rogers, we know how quick he is. Can he secure another race win? Picked up the race win at Bathurst last year in the eSeries. How much further through the field can Brody Kostecki climb up? 15th from 24th, and a restart just to make sure that he bunches the field up and maybe gets a few more. 4 laps to go this time by. Race 7 of the championship, coming to the conclusion of our very first Repco safety car. Can Josh Rogers hold his nerve? Have a look at the queue of cars behind him. That is an angry, angry battle pack. Jackson Suzlin Harlow's dropped to the back of the field during the safety car as well as the green flag flies. And we are racing once again at Mount Panorama. And that's a pretty good restart for Josh Rogers. But remember, the slipstream is huge, and Dane Warren's going to have a huge go up Mountain Straight. Does Rogers have to go defensive? And how does Madison downplay himself into this one?
I'd love to see Warren slide it down the inside.
Have a crack at his teammate. Rogers defensive for now. Gilliam defensive. He's on old tyres. He's got Jake Burton on good tyres for company. Burton on the outside of him. Warren not close enough yet, playing the wingman as the Dunlop car slides up. Hey, that happened to him last year as well in the E-Series at Bathurst. Very similar move, yeah. Slips up on the curb. Hampstead through. Oh, there was contact there. 1 or 2 cars banging bumpers up through the cutting. May have been Gilliam and Phil Sell. Phil Sell keen to get a move on here.
Very awkward what happened to Suzlin Harlow and the other Brad Jones Racing Commodore. Try and get word on why he's retired from this race during that Repco safety car period. This is a frantic start. Single file through the mountain. Top of the mountain. Same thing.
Rogers, Warren down the top 3.
Burton would have been kicking himself for that. He tried to go on the outside of turn 2 and he's cost himself 3 positions. He can't be happy with it.
That is the real Hail Mary move, that one on the outside.
You've been on the outside of Griffin's Bend. Is it very slippery out there? How does it feel like? I've always compared it on the sim to someone chucking a bucket of water under the car randomly.
Yeah, it's always dusty and there's always marbles, and you know, later in the race you definitely don't try it. It is like an ice skating ring out there, and Josh has worked that found out the hard way.
And here's Jake Burton on the attack on Richard Hampstead. Richard Hampstead's had a very improved year. Murray's is such a difficult braking zone, as you dip downhill, and it's off camber on the exit. You just want to get pulled into the barrier as you apply the power. Few laps remaining here.
He's going to go the outside again.
Loves a move on the outside. On the Jack LeBrock car as well, which is ironic.
Perfectly over and unders himself to be on the outside again. Come on.
Someone in the background stepping the right rear over the curb in a big way.
That was Brody Kostecki.
He's not going to die wondering today, Brody. He's going to have a real crack through this field.
And look at Ethan Grigg-Gold.
The outside of Harley Haber. Jake, the outside Burton.
And over and under to the outside.
A little bit of a bumper up. Sam Blacklock's
He can't be in there.
trying to catch this pack in the background with now Caruso having a peek. And Cooper Webster in on this one as well. Webster in the inside of the cutting. Can they run 2x2 through here? They can. Good racing. Harley Haber, Ethan Grigg-Gold, Josh Muggleton out the back. Then Sam Blacklock, who I mentioned earlier.
I thought the track was about to be jammed there for a second. But it wasn't. These drivers kept it clean. Harley Haber, who won this race in the All-Stars E-Series, in the top 10 now, up 6th position, had a brilliant race.
Driving it well, couldn't qualify well, but definitely putting it together nicely in race trim. There is the Seiko 5 car. Going to have a livery change next week, I'm informed, but that is the Guile livery. We gave away the Street Fighter 5 Guile watch tonight. So all different characters from Street Fighter 5 in a limited edition run of Seiko watches, which is really cool. And the Guile watch is still available, but there's not many left if you want to go and snap one of those up. There is Cooper working away at the moment. He's mixing his real-life experience in race car driving with his virtual driving. He's a student at Assumption College, Kilmore, out in Melbourne's very northern suburbs.
I saw someone touch the grass there. I thought they were about to do a Fabian back in 2010.
A few have been doing that, just dropping the left rear off into the mud, going through the chase. So Webster now pouring the pressure on. Oh, that's a tight spot to try and work the over-under. Can he get the drive out of Murray's? He can.
Oh, no.
There's the overlap. It's going to turn overlap into an opportunity down at turn 1. Good racecraft from the teenager.
What he did there was pull to the racing line at the last second, so that forced Webster to take a tighter line in the braking zone. If he took to the racing line earlier, Webster has a chance to open up the corner.
Made it difficult for him, and he's still making it difficult. Up Mountain Straight, good fight. The only car with teeth in the livery, chewing away on the back of that Repco car.
Oh, no.
Haber out of nowhere. Can he hold on to this one? The outside line is just too slippery. Can't make it stick, and he loses a spot, as so many have, going up through that part of the track. On the outside, Ethan Grigg-Gould, and he's going to skittle the field off the bumper of Haber. Muggleton sneaks through. Blacklock caught up in that one, and he's a goner. Difficult spot. Oh, Blacklock's still going around. They're still wrecking, going up the mountain. And 40 years after Dick Johnson got stuck, just about there hitting the rock, 17 is stuck again. Whoa, it all just kicked off, didn't it? And Blackhall's also got damage. That is a Lenovo savage moment. Let's check this one out once again. Nick Percat, how did this all start?
Yeah, a bit exciting
pushing and
up there
shoving
into the cutting, yeah, and obviously 3 cars into the cutting is never really going to work out. And then from then, iRacing mayhem.
That's 5 out of 7 races now that Grigg-Gould's had contact with someone, so he has had an awful start to the year, and this is the final lap of the race, and I think this race is done. Are they going to do a formation finish as the Walkinshaw boys did last year, if you remember that?
I don't know, it looks like he's trying to shake him off his tail at the moment. I think he's more worried about losing this motor race the old-fashioned way, as Dane Warren mounts a very late charge on his teammate. He's close, but not quite close enough through the chase. Last corner, there's still one more chance. Oh, Rogers was slightly wide. Dropped the left rear up on the curb. There's a chance potentially to try and get this out of the last corner. It's going to be a Walkinshaw Andretti United 1-2, and it's going to be Josh Rogers cashing in at Mount Panorama. And 30 years after this team won Bathurst in 1990, they go back to the top today with a 1-2. From Bathurst to Germany, that's Josh Rogers, your winner of race 7. And doesn't he look ecstatic about it? Dane Warren, a little wry shift of the eyebrows as he looks in the mirror. And they're scrapping all the way back through Richard Hampstead, who lost a lot of spots late in that race.
The 3 that pitted
Whoops.
the extra time there.
A bit of hang time.
Actually benefited quite well.
What just happened?
What button do you have to press to make that happen, Nick?
I was good at doing it. You just hold it flat into someone and you just fly for the air.
Repco results off the back of a highly entertaining 100 Ks of Bathurst, and it's Josh Rogers and Dane Warren in a 1-2. Madison down, BJR third, top 3 in the championship, top 3 on the board. Andrew Gilliam, great drive to be 4th. Jared Filsell picked up a few spots. Jake Burton had a crack, points for having a crack. Harley Haber was involved in that very late big moment at the cutting. And there's going to be a lot there for Justin Rougier, who had a bit of a baptism by fire at round 2 the other day when he was new on the job, trying to figure out how that all works. And Jackson Suslan-Harlow with an issue.
I just had reports from BJR that his internet or SIM is actually turned off for Jackson. So
that'll do it. Okay, Repco highlights, race 7. And it was an all Walkinshaw Andretti United front row. And they would finish 1-2 in that order, but everything that happened in between was really, really exciting. And it started early. Forza El Nabi on the inside in the BP Ultimate car, sliding up, and heavy contact with one of our wildcard drivers tonight, Brody Kostecki.
Yeah, Brody Kostecki did make up a lot of positions here at the start, but had a car, and look, the wreck is still continuing a few moments later. Sam Blacklock found himself in the rough stuff here at Griffin's Bend about 2 or 3 times this race. So for our winner from Montreal, and there's the second time at it, for our winner from Montreal, hasn't had the best of runs here for the opening night of Bathurst. Good news is that the next race is reverse grid, and Blacklock was everywhere tonight. This was the scene at the cutting of the big one and the long one that you'll see a little later on. Filsell shoved into the barrier. That was indeed contact with the wall, and here it is. The track wasn't jammed, but it was close to it.
Very, very close to it. Ethan Griggle backwards, facing the wrong way. Sam Blacklock copped 1 or 2 shots. Both the Penrite Racing cars involved in that one. Not that they had anywhere to go. Blacklock and Black Hall stuck together. And at the stripe, good fight. One of the closest races of the finish, of the season, I should say. One of the closest finishes we've had all year long. And by a couple tenths of a second, Josh Rogers and Dane Warren in a highly, highly entertaining finish at Mount Panorama. There's your Repco highlights. Plenty going on in that one. Well, after the break, we're going to be chatting to our race winner as well as plenty more of the drivers, so stick with us. But first, I want to tell you about our brand new Repco fan survey. Repco have come on as the new naming rights sponsor for the next 5 years, and in partnership with Supercars. They want to hear from you, the fans, so head to supercars.com.au for more details.
Repco has an amazing history in Trans-Tasman motorsport.
And the future looks just as exciting.
The countdown starts now for the 2021 Repco Supercars Championship.
Featuring Australia's great race, the Repco Bathurst 1000.
We want to hear from you, the fans.
Tell us about you and why you love the sport.
Come on, tell us what you really think.
The Repco Supercars Pro eSeries is proudly brought to you by Lenovo Legion. Game with speed.
Hi, it's these, thanks.
Good choice. That'd be $52.99, thanks.
Thanks.
Repco, it starts with the parts. From the outside, who would know what lies beneath? Unleash it with a machine as savage as you are.
This is how legends are made.
Lenovo Legion. Stylish outside, savage inside.
Hi, it's these, thanks.
Good choice. That'd be $52.99, thanks.
Thanks.
Repco, it starts with the parts.
The Repco Supercars Pro eSeries is proudly brought to you by Lenovo Legion. Game with speed.
Hi everyone, my name's Josh Muggleton. I'm 33 from Sydney, and in this year's Repco Supercars Pro eSeries, I'm proud to represent Shaw Racing in the number 81 Ford Mustang. I've been sim racing now for almost as long as some of these kids have been alive. It's bordering on 14 years now, starting on Gran Turismo, including some of my GT Academy success over there, finishing second in the world at Silverstone, then coming back here, starting my real life driving career, and obviously adopting the iRacing platform in the midst of all that as well. Moving on to my rig now, I've got to start with my Shaw Aonic 50 wireless headphones, giving me an unbelievable advantage when it comes to sound in the sim. A lot of my sim gear is from hybrid racing simulations, HR sims. We've got a next level GT racing track cockpit that I've got everything mounted to with 3 screens, Fanatec Club Sport wheel, Huskenfeld sprint pedals, we've got a Fanatec shifter as well, and a hybrid racing dash in there for some data, as well as a few button boxes for me to make some adjustments on the fly. So like I said, really excited to get back into it this year, give it a real crack and see what we come up with. So look out for the number 81 Shaw Mustang. Cheers.
Great to have your company for the Repco Supercars Pro eSeries. We're having a lot of fun tonight because we've got 2 races at Mount Panorama. Nice to get to know Josh Muggleton, who's been in last year's series as well as this one. Special guests joining us in the studio tonight. Jonathan Simone's always here, Nick Percat, and look who's up at the desk for the first time. Calling strategies, isn't he?
Noticed that I have
1 or 2 treats.
Snack.
And I thought chocolate wasn't good for dogs.
No, he's going to be on the fads.
How much does he get into it at an actual race meeting? Does he get in the garages? Does he change wheels? Wash the car?
He loves at the racetrack because he loves everyone at Brad Jones Racing. So he runs around like a maniac and visits everyone and helps them do stuff, apparently.
Yep. Fair enough.
Brings the morale up.
Yeah, and he travels all right in the car, clearly, because he drove him around half the country.
Exactly. He loves it. Just sits there and watches the world go by.
I love it. I love it. Well, we've got plenty more to come up, including the reverse grid race not too far away. Let's grab our first Shaw live chat of the night. And all the way from Germany, welcome, Josh Rogers. It's another race win, and again, you had to work for that one, mate.
Yeah, that was tough. I mean, I knew coming into this one, Dane was going to be ridiculously strong. This is a track that's always really good for him. Thankfully, it's a track that's good for me too, but the draft definitely kind of kept the pack together and kept the pressure on. I think overall, I can be happy with that. I made a couple mistakes though, so I need to try and iron those out for the next race. But yeah, overall, happy with that one. But the reverse grid's going to be where all the interesting stuff starts to happen. And with this round too, 150 points on offer for the reverse grid instead of 75. It's a race that could potentially, really flip the championship. So got to have my head switched on for this one and make some smart moves and try and come through the field.
Josh, let's revisit your safety car restart. So what a lot of people don't think about is there's a lot of strategy that goes into that. I noticed that you accelerated on the apex of Murray's corner, which means that Warren's still turning and he can't actually get the run on you. Is that what you were thinking at the same time?
I mean, to be honest, I was trying to kind of go a little bit later just to try and give Dane a slightly better run as well. We knew that Madison had 2 laps fresher tyres. So, I mean, if he was able to split us 2, then it was always going to make things a lot trickier. I think at the end of the day, we did a good job managing that and secured some good points. But yeah, this race, obviously, roles will be reversed depending on how the first lap goes. So, but yeah, I mean, I think there's no safety car in this race though. So yeah, that should make things a little bit more straightforward. But yeah, we'll see how things go. But yeah, the restart, there's always a lot of strategy that goes behind it, whether it's from a team perspective or even from a solo perspective, deciding when to go, maximizing traction and stuff like that. So yeah, there's a lot that goes into it, that's for sure.
Josh, quickly, you had a crack at the DTM series finale. How'd you go over there? That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that was awesome. Obviously a different sim, race room, but yeah, different. That's for sure. The driving standards was really good though. Had a great time. DRS and push the pass though in that series, so that definitely mixed things up, especially at Daytona. Ultimately, it came down to the last couple of 100 meters, like it would in the Indy 500. So, but no, it was a different experience. I guess it kind of cut into my preparation time a little bit for this week, but yeah, no, it was good fun. It was awesome.
All right, well done, mate. Cool to see you racing some different stuff. Best of luck in the reverse grid race. And we'll try and queue up another Shaw live chat as well with our good buddy Brody Kostecki, who has made it onto the E-Series from the All-Star E-Series. And these kids have been beating up on you, mate, or is it the other way around? You look like you're beating some of them up in that one.
No, it's actually been quite a struggle tonight. I'm actually quite rusty at this, so had to blow the dust off the old sim and put it back together. And that was a bit of a struggle, to be honest. But I think we're starting close to the front on the reverse grid, so hopefully we can stay out of trouble and try get a win.
Brody, it's Nick Percat. I just want to say that because that's how Scafey does it. There you go, mate. I tipped you to come through from 24th because you're in Paul Morris's house, and that's what Chaz did, and he was with Paul, and I just thought maybe there's a bit of chemistry there. But looks like you're in the wars there. And new sim, give us a rundown how that's going.
Yeah, it's not too bad. I've actually got Paul, who's actually been sitting behind me, so he's been trying to coach me through it. So I think I was about 2 car lengths behind everyone, and he just said, fire it down the inside every time. So I was trying to stay out of trouble and be a bit of a good boy. But yeah, all elbows out for this next one and starting at the front. So just got to get the Penrite car into victory lane.
Is it a help or a hindrance having Paul in the background? Because I saw in lap 1 there was some pretty exciting stuff. You and Forzan El Nabi went toe-to-toe going up through the cutting.
Yeah, it's actually been it's been quite strange. I've got Anton yelling at me, Nash yelling at me. I've got the dog trying to get a pat from me. So there's a bit going on. So yeah.
Brody, it's Jonathan Simon here. I'm trying to be like Percat Scafey too. I don't know if it's going to work out as well. You texted me on Saturday and your sim barely had a seat on it. So when did you actually get that thing built?
I actually got it together last night. So far I probably should have left it apart. But we'll see how we go.
It goes quicker. Maybe chuck some of those method wheels on it, mate. Might make it go a bit quicker for the next one.
Yeah, going to try to.
Right. You're out of third. So. Go get them, buddy. Good luck.
All right, cheers, thank you.
I think we've got time for one more. Zane Goddard, let's see if we can check in on the Gold Coast and bring Zane in for a chat. Zane, good evening, mate. What's the latest from where you're sitting at the moment? You've got your own special guest.
Yes, I brought Chewy along for the interview.
Chewy, brilliant. So does he have his own media manager or something? You had to clear that up with them first?
Nah, not as famous as Doug.
Well, we've got Nelson live in the studio. We should see if we can queue up a bit of a live chat between the two. I had a feeling if we invited Nick on the show, it was just going to turn into a bit of an old dog love-in fest. Where are you out of for this reverse grid, mate? You finished 17th in that one. Were you happy with that result?
To be honest, I was hoping for the reverse grid pole, but everyone started crashing, so it sort of ruined my strategy.
Well, you got a few cars to pass, including your buddy Brody Kostecki. You two were into it on the first lap there. You drove with his cousin at the real Bathurst this year. So you got any tips for you?
I don't know. Jake just said send it, so I guess that's what I'm going to do. Yeah, it was pretty good at the start. A little bit of fun. That was the only action I sort of got. And I was just out the back and
All right, Zane and Chewy live from the Gold Coast. We'll let you turn your attention now to the reverse grid race. That's going to be coming up very shortly here. But first, I want to tell you how you can have your opportunity to be joining the fun next year and do the entire series for the BP Ultimate team. How cool is this? You could also win a $500 gift voucher thanks to the crew at BP. So go onto the Supercars website, follow the links, check out this competition, and you could be on the grid for every single race for the BP Ultimate team next year. It's a really cool prize. And if you think that you can run with the best of the best in the E-Series, then this is your chance to do what Forzan El Nabi did at the All-Stars earlier this year. Okay, we need a break. Reverse grid, Mount Panorama. It's coming up.
Repco Supercars Pro eSeries, proudly brought to you by Coin. Be part of where the world is going.
Hi, it's these, thanks.
Good choice. That'd be $52.99, thanks.
Thanks.
Repco, it starts with the parts. From the outside, who would know what lies beneath? Unleash it with a machine as savage as you are.
This is how legends are made.
Lenovo Legion. Stylish outside, savage inside.
Hi, it's these, thanks.
Good choice. That'd be $52.99, thanks.
Thanks.
Repco, it starts with the parts.
The Repco Supercars Pro eSeries, proudly brought to you by Coin. Be part of where the world is going. Tired of poor sound quality while you're trying to hit those apexes? Well, Shure are giving away mobile recording kits, enabling professional quality audio solutions every week of the eSeries. Simply head to the Supercars Facebook page tomorrow, post a photo of your sim setup. The image with the most likes wins.
So good to have your company tonight. Fox Sports, KO, if you're watching via Supercars YouTube or Facebook or Twitch, anywhere you're watching right now, it's really cool to have you a part of the coverage tonight. It's great to hear from the fans earlier and throw Nick some questions as well. Okay, let's go reverse grid racing, guys. This is going to be cool because we've got some fast guys off the back. Let's check out how we're going to queue them up on the Seiko 5 race grid. And we've got some fast guys at the front of this field. Jackson Suzlin-Harlow has been pretty quick here, so a chance for him, and Brady Myers as well. Brody Kostecki out of 3. He has to be almost the race favourite, but we've got some breaking news on him as well in the moment. Ethan Griggold alongside Sam Blacklock out of row number 3. Can Shelby Power get to the front? Richard Hampstead was quick in that last one. I see Jonathan nodding his head. He could be a chance alongside Zaid Goddard. Josh Anderson was playing the long game early, and there were so many crashes he ended up finishing higher than he wanted to. He'll start 9 alongside the BP Ultimate cars. James Golding out of 11th. He was on the real grid starting alongside Mark Winterbottom earlier this year. Job Stewart for Erebus alongside Ben Smith. Cooper Webster, Josh Muggleton, the youngest and the oldest, starting alongside each other, 15th and 16th. Harley Haber, 17th. Jordan Caruso in the beautiful Repco Mustang out of 18 tonight. Jake Burton's got some work to do. No more go on the outside. That's the advice from Nick Percat alongside Jared Philsell. Andrew Gillingham out of 21st. Great racecraft was Nick's approval of him on that last one. And then have a go at that for a final row. How far can Dane Warren and Josh Rogers get? That is the big question. They're going to have 16 laps and pit stops and everything to sort out at Mount Panorama, Bathurst. And it was about that sunny for Friday and Saturday practice early this year. It was a bit of a touch and go race day. Didn't quite get the rain we thought we'd get for the great race this year. Check out the trophy room for Jackson Suzlin-Harlow.
Won a couple of races.
He's got as many as you've got, Nick.
That's impressive. See all the Australian Karting Championship trophies in the background there. It's really cool. Yeah, I don't think he lacks ability behind the wheel in real life.
No, not as many trophies in the background for DJ Braids as he's ready to go. Changing gears with the panels tonight, the paddle shifter.
About to mention that, paddle shifter.
Oh, was he sequential normally?
Oh, some mix it up. Some go with a normal style shifter. There is Brodie Kostecki out of third with the Method wheels in the background, driving for Penrite Racing tonight, just like he was when they finished 9th at the great race with Anton De Pasquale. Now, his 5 races in the E-Series earlier this year were 2nd, 10th, 2nd, 3rd, 2nd. Can he finally get a win? Maybe tonight. Now, here is Jared Filsell, and I think maybe the thunderstorms that are looming in your part of the world, Nick, back in South Australia, are causing some issues from getting into this session. And we have had word that some of the thunderstorms are causing some drivers some problems tonight. So we'll push through that as much as we can. Jonathan, how does that really affect things?
Well, he just wouldn't be able to actually click and connect. I think it's as simple as that. He has connected because I can see his right mirror there, which is black, but there'll be...
frustrated, doesn't he?
Well, it can be internet and power, doesn't it?
Yeah,
power, you got no chance.
I'd be frustrated too after my start to the season. I think last week we saw Jared Filsell was a top 2 driver. It's got to start from here, from the back though. He's not too far back in the field. Now the pit windows expect drivers to come in as early as lap 1 because you've got to get rid of lap traffic. Josh Rogers is a reverse grid specialist too. Wouldn't be surprised if he comes into the lane at the end of this first lap.
There are the pros on screen right now. This is the Pro E-Series, the best of the best. And we've got plenty of big guys to watch out for. Watch out for Brodie Kostecki out of third. He's got a standard livery for this one and a shift over to the Mustang. Just made one little mistake in entering this race. So that is Brodie Kostecki to the inside, not in the Penrite colours like normal. And that's a great start from Brodie, moving quickly into 2nd position. But a good exit from the Pioneer DJ car. He should have had that livery a couple of weeks ago for the breast cancer round. Could have raised some money with us. And he might just be able to get across and cover him. He's relying on Anton De Pasquale's spotter for that one. And he makes it stick. Does he lock the rears down at turn 2? He's got him dancing all over the place.
That Mustang Aero. Look at it.
It's quick. It's quick in a straight line. Whoa, how's this battle pack? The guys from the back.
4 wide?
I think it was just about... Oh, Gillian, big shunt. He's gone in a big way. That was hefty.
They weren't going to deal with him blocking this race, were they?
No, they got rid of him nice and early.
That was Murphy Ambrose.
It was, wasn't it? The poor kid's going to struggle to get out of that one. Across the top for the first time. Remember, that is the Penrite Racing car. Penrite and Method wheels for Brodie Kostecki running across the top. So there are some intricacies about joining these sessions. If you click 1 or 2 things incorrectly, which can happen, we did see it in the All-Stars happen a few times as well. It's everyone's nightmare.
I missed a race.
Yes. Yep. Can happen. I think John Stephenson may have had some things like that happen as well. That's righty. John Stephenson had a win at Bathurst during the celebrity race in a different liveried car, so maybe it's going to be a good thing for Brodie Kostecki. A bit of good luck. Just got to rub it on enough walls where you can't see it anyway. Meanwhile, back at the end of the pack, swinging through the inside of Zane Goddard, and this is our last race winner, Josh Rogers. Have a look at the dogfight up ahead of him.
Jared Filsell up ahead, right alongside Jake Burton. They're going to go alongside each other into the chase. And how about this? So this is Kostecki from Myers, from Greg Galt, from Blacklock. This is for the battle for 2nd place. And now Rogers, Burton's been forced off the chase, caught the end of that, and he's going to file down to the back of your lead pack.
Whoa, aggressive pit stop from Josh Rogers, who pits on the opening lap of the race and was giving no one a chance of checking that strategy out as he hauled the thing hard left. So lucky that he was clear of the traffic to be able to make that stop because he was on the wrong side of the racetrack.
And what did I tell you about Josh Rogers coming into the lane at the end of lap 1, along with Kelly Racing's Benjamin Smith, who moves from Ned Racing, the Ned Racing livery last round, back into the Castrol livery. So those two will service for some quick stops. 13 litres of fuel, which is required for this race. And everybody is still forming up. Now, this race is playing into the hands of Jackson Suzlin-Harlow. I think he's in great contention right now to build the gap on Brodie Kostecki and hopefully run away with the lead. But let's see how Brodie's pace goes. He's going to get quicker the more track time he has.
Oh, here's a big move from Josh Muggleton on James Golding. Nice save, James Golding. Cable sneak through and just get that made. Yes, before we arrive up at Reed Park. Muggleton would love to find Josh Rogers in this race. There is a chance that maybe they'll meet at some point with some bad blood from last week at Montreal.
Are we surprised that Warren didn't follow him in? Just like they've been driving around together.
And last week and the week before it was the same.
So surprising, he had a poor opening lap and he was actually 3 or 4 cars behind his teammate, and then he didn't take the option to pit, and he's now buried in this massive battle pack and actually lost to a position to Burton on this lap as well. So
we'll we'll give you some lap times next time by. We know Rogers can comfortably do 2:04 flat. So the Seiko 5 fastest lap last time by was a 2:04.0 in the last race. And I'm telling you right now, this pack is not doing 2:04s. They're much slower.
If I'm Ethan Griggold or Richard Hampstead, you've got to come in this time by. They seem like they can't get past the trolley train of Brody Kostecki.
Fight for second. Kostecki's gone. Oh, good save. If anything, Myers may have straightened him up at the exit of the chase. So could have been worse. He does lose 5 or 6 spots as Anderson and one of the BP Ultimate cars dives into pit lane. Oh, that was a big save for the Penrite Racing car. Can he fight back from here?
Do you reckon BP, Paul or Anton yelled at him most?
I think it was just noise. A lot of noise. Good thing he's got the headset on. Try and block out as much of that as he can. But that was a pretty wild moment trying to hang on a second spot. Jackson Suzlin-Harlow and Brad Jones Racing have cleared out at the moment.
And for your championship contenders, Webster's in the lane along with Madison down. Don't forget, second in the championship coming into this round. Yes, that is correct. Had to double check that. And Dane Warren also in the lane. Now, are they going to come out ahead of Rogers? We'll find out as Myers here still tries to defend second place. He's going to have to keep this Mustang as wide as possible for Pioneer DJ Racing.
So last time by, the mid-pack were doing mid-205s, 205.7 for that very feisty battle pack. So if Rogers can go out there on an outlap and run 204s, he's going to pick up a lot of spots. But the tyres will be pretty second-hand late in the race.
Doesn't look like he's picked up the 14 of down.
No.
Split the two.
Yeah, they have. Look how fast they travel through this Seiko 5 telemetry, giving us a good look at 100 kilometers an hour through the dipper. That's what you do on your average freeway on the drive down to the track or to the studio for us.
Ethan Griggold's best results last year in the E-Series came at Mount Panorama, including a podium.
And remember, he held up Warren for about, I'd say, the closing 5 or 10 laps that race.
Yeah, and when I say best results, that was not in the reverse grid races. He did pick up a reverse grid race win at Alton Park, but out of the races that he qualified for, he did go well at Bathurst. Jake Blackhall here under fire in the 97 Pro Sims entry, which is Knight Rider Designs, which is a company that he owns and operates, doing the liveries for all these cars. He probably has done one of your E-Series liveries at some point, Nick. Very astute at making all of the iRacing liveries.
No doubt, and they all look so good. It's like amazing how well he does them, and they all look like they're just the real-life cars, so it's a serious skill.
Thousands of them as well, which is pretty cool. Here we go, Rogers is on here. Madison down under attack, down on the defensive, and Dane Warren going with him. So these are your 3 championship catalysts at the moment. Warren's got a really good run on his teammate. This is his chance. He's got to have a crack. Nick Percat egging him on from the studio, wanting him to dive down the inside. Not quite there.
Has he ever actually passed him? I've got to ask.
He's a very good wingman, put it that way.
Looks like it.
Yeah, he's playing rear gun at the moment. Have a crack, Dane Warren. This is your chance at turn 1, potentially. He's not going to have a look there.
Maybe he's taken the teammate thing very literal.
Oh,
it's on the game.
Have a look at the rejoin there for Harley Haber.
Good.
Just slotted that in. And Jake Blackhall's managed to get out in front of these guys as well. So the early pit stops, picking up a few spots here for Josh Rogers, but not that many. Oh, this is aggressive from Madison down. Blackhall letting these guys go through, wants no part of that battle.
You receive a slowdown, potentially. I don't know where you could really get them at this circuit, apart from Skyline and the Chase. So I don't know really know what's happened to him.
This is tight. Madison down, gets to the inside of Harley Haber and makes it stick. Haber's going to check up just in front of the 2 Walkinshaw cars. Oh, this will work out beautifully for Josh Rogers. Potentially, yes, he puts a car between himself and his teammate. Nothing is going Dane Warren's way.
That's what happens when you don't pass the bloke. Sorry, but far out. 2 races in a row.
I love the honesty. You're going to have to give him a pep talk this week.
Not my team.
This is great. Cool to have Nick Percat in the studio, firing up the E-Series boys tonight.
Hey, Nick, how's Jackson Suzlin-Harlow going in first place?
He's doing a good job. Lap time is still very good, and I think he's actually going to pop out a little bit further up the road on the guys we expect to be leading this than I kind of expected. Because I expected Rogers to kind of have a few more laps of clear air, and I thought those 2 might battle it out at the end, but we're trying to get through another BJR car here, so it's perfect.
Going all right at the moment.
How about that? A BJR win with a BJR driver. We had Scott Pye last year, remember, with the Walkinshaw team winning.
We did.
And And then Ryan Walkinshaw for the final round, experiencing the championship. Oh, no.
Here goes Dane Warren to the inside of Harley Haber, launches it off the curb.
Oh, God.
Sends him wide, and he gives him one back. And it's going to get worse, because here comes Ben Smith. He's going to lose a few spots, and he's going to flash the headlights in anger. I love it.
Yeah, a lot of these drivers... I've received some messages between the races. Some drivers aren't happy with Haber.
Really?
Ooh. And they felt like some of his moves in that first race were a little aggressive. Here's Warren just making amends for that. Now, the problem is he can't use his fast repair because he's already made the pit stop.
Indeed, Lenovo savage moment at the chase. Nick, talk us through this one.
Always hard to pass at the chase, actually. So that's genuinely what you'll see happen in real life. And the car on the outside of the chase, when they touch the grass, you generally lose a lot of grip very quickly. So, yeah, iRacing, it's hard to run any sort of curb or grass alongside another car without that contact. So, kind of always going to happen.
There is Harley Haber off the back of that little scrap with Dane Warren. And this is a nice move from Ethan Griggault. Left it late. Oh, got to the inside of Brady Myers, fed him a little bit wide. Sam Blacklock on the scene to pick up a spot as well.
I was about to say, you can't really... I was like, they can't end up side by side on the exit, and they didn't when the camera changed shot. There is Ethan Griggault on screen in his second series, or second season of the eSeries. Hopefully he has some good luck to his side this race. So the leading driver to make a pit stop is Josh Anderson, as we watch Jake Burton here, who's going to scream his way past James Golding, who drove this exact racetrack just about a month ago in the real world. And that's a simple move for Jake Burton. And Nick, you've actually met Jake Burton. He was at a test last year at Winton. Jake last year was joking around with Chad and us and the crew saying, hey, I wouldn't mind fancying a drive in a Super 3 car, and you got to go at the main game car.
Yeah, he got strapped straight into the actual car, at a Winton evaluation day last year. And yeah, it was cool to see someone, come from the sim racing world. Obviously, he's driven race cars before, and jump in a supercar, a pretty big step. And it was, you could see the traits in the data that he uses to be fast in a simulator that I can't do. And then he had to try and work out how to drive the car in real life like I would to be fast. So it was a pretty cool day for him. And that's a good thing with my boss Brad. He's pretty genuine bloke, and he thought he deserved a skid, and he got one.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Came off the back of winning one of the races, I think at Watkins Glen. He said, Brad, give me a drive, and he did. Called him on it.
That's all you have to say. That's what I said to Brad with my contract. Brad, just keep signing it.
Please, can I have a drive?
Do you know Andrew Edwards is his spotter?
I do. AE's there, and he's very passionate towards it. It's good.
I love it. All right, let's do a short sounds of the game, shall we? Crank a ride up. Like to think that someone's flicked on the telly, put Fox Sports on and go, oh, Bathurst is on. Because it takes a few seconds to realize what you're watching when you see it. This is iRacing, and that is the level of realism. Love the sounds and the short sounds of the game. And this simulation is incredibly realistic. And it's brought to life so brilliantly with the Supercars eSeries. Josh Anderson. He's driving a bit of a lonely race at the moment, but first to have served the pit stop, so is potentially going to pop out near the front of this pack once everything has been cleansed through the field.
Effective leader is still Susan Harlow if you look at the times, but Anderson is obviously the lead car to make a pit stop. Richard Hampstead, Brody Kostecki in the lane.
I think Anderson is the only driver in the field to have actually won a real-life race at Bathurst this year. He won the Aussie Racing Cars there as part of the support build for the 12-hour.
Hard to do there. I've raced the Aussie Racing Cars there, and the slipstream's so big in those things, it's very difficult to win a race around there in an Aussie Racing Car. So kudos to him. He's done a really good job, and we've seen at the front.
Bit going on in the background there as well as we check out the BP Ultimate teammates, Forzan El Nabi and Emily Jones.
So that's Richard Hampstead in the Super Cheap Auto Racing Mustang that's just come out. Look at the defending from Jordan Caruso. Muggleton said this race, he's not going to let anybody walk all over him. Just like, I thought I saw someone off in the background, didn't I?
Was it Rogers? It was.
Wow.
Yeah, I was just about to say Rogers is one car behind Muggleton, watch out. And then something happened at turn 2. The battle we were all waiting for was just about to happen. And what happened to the championship leader? He has been so strong through these reverse grid races and does an amazing job of staying out of trouble, but something's happened.
Luckily for him, he's got a few laps to recover it, because obviously he's on track battling with the championship contender.
Yeah.
And yeah, so now we've got to see what he can do.
Brody Kostecki has also lost a couple of spots in all of this as well. Lenovo savage moment. What's happened down here? So Muggleton was on the outside of 1, and it was the bumper of the Cup Cadet car.
So that's him racing in Germany, and there's been what they call netcode contact. So it's just him with a higher ping racing in an international connection, and that's what's caused the contact there. Our leaders have come in though. This is critical for the race. Suzlin Harlow, Greg Galt in the Shannon's Mustang, Sam Blacklock for Shell V-Power Racing.
So with Jackson in the pits, good chance to check in with our driving standards observer, Justin Ruggier. Justin, what was your read on that one?
Yeah, unfortunately, after reviewing that Madison's car, yeah, it appears to be net code, unfortunately.
So does that mean no penalty then?
Situation to be in.
So what's the ruling then? Is there a penalty?
Well, we're still reviewing it, but as you can see from the broadcast, it's definitely, Madison was just sitting there, and unfortunately there was air between the two cars, so there's a pretty big gap, and they still managed to hit with the net code. So we'll keep reviewing it, and it's just unfortunate.
All right, thank you very much to Justin Ruggier, and that's why it's cool having a guy of Justin's experience there, because he understands all of that. And the whole scenario is Harley Haber is wide and in the fence, and I think that may have been in some form of battle with Brody Kostecki in the bright pink Penrite racing car.
Looked like they were fairly racy up to turn 2 there, and is it still going?
I think it's about to go again here. Haber on the outside.
Very high-risk situation right now for Rogers.
Oh, no.
Yes, agreed. He's looking at a wall of race cars and trying to find his way through. To the inside of Brody Kostecki goes the championship leader, and they rub. And Kostecki's in the wall, hard in the wall at the grate.
That's his car done. I think I heard the engine blow, and there you can see the smoke. So this will be a retirement for Brody Kostecki, unless he hasn't used his fast repair. So if you can find a way to just trundle home to the pit lane and just coast that, what's supposed to be a Penrite Racing Mustang home, he should be able to claim up some good points.
Oh man, this was a big moment. Nick called it going through Reed Park. They rubbed and bang. That was a big one. So many cars have gone in there.
Does Morris give him the advice like what he did with me in 2011? Was it at Perth?
In Perth.
Does he lap down and fence me? Does he just get this thing repaired, get back out there and get some payback?
Big story behind that one. We'll have to get to the bottom of that one one day. That was a famous moment.
I've had a few beers over that one. It's a good one.
You've got to love that about the dude. Jordan Caruso now, side by side with Job Stewart.
Oh, no.
Oh, they're all gone. Since we're doing Scapey impersonations tonight, and Stewart somehow gets his way back across the fence without hitting anyone across the entire racetrack, and then just grabs a gear and gets on with it. That was an incredible save in the end. Just ricocheted off the wall, and that was contact with Josh Muggleton. Things are getting a bit silly in the reverse grid race. You got to love it.
That's insane. I'm not sure how he didn't collect the rest of the field behind. He wouldn't have been focusing on that. He would have just been hoping that the rest of their field found their way around him. I remember Mark Webber did that, actually, Aussie Formula One driver. It was a race at Korea once. He spun in the rain and just went spearing back off into the racetrack, took out Nico Rosberg.
Up through turn 2, and this has finally started to sort out themselves a little bit, so it can take a little bit of a breath with that one, but man, can barely queue up the Repco replays fast enough at the moment. It's a Repco car who was involved in this one. Nice move, Caruso on the inside. Stewart tried to give him some room down at the chase, and we've seen this one a few times tonight. That was still side by side the whole way through, and then Muggleton arrives on the scene, third man up. And how well played was that for Madison Down?
Oh, that's dangerous.
Picked up a few spots. That would have been a frightful moment had that happened in real life.
Had some awful crashes at this racetrack. It's a terrifying one when you get it wrong.
Jackson Suzlin-Harlow in the livery that Nick drove at Bathurst this year with Macca's number. It's a bit of a mix.
And look at it go. It's still running without a drama. No power steering issues. He's going to be effectively the leader. He's putting in some seriously fast lap times at the moment. And look at the airspace around him.
Is his co-driver going to be smashing some Mrs. Max pies like Tom Randall was?
Tommy. He did love that mid-race, didn't he?
He was putting a few of them away as well. He was getting into them. Here we go. Harley Haber again, side by side. He's been at everything tonight, this time with Ben Smith.
These guys have been having this battle since the cutting like 4 laps ago.
It's been awesome. It's been absolutely on. And at the back of it once again is Josh Rogers, just trying to find some clean racetrack. He did the lap 1 pit stop to get clean air, and I don't think he ever saw it. Maybe had 1 lap of clean air. And look at work out.
Look at Jake Burton leading the race. Obviously, he hasn't made his 1 compulsory pit stop yet, but the fact that he's gone for the overcut goes to show you how the racing's been tonight. He's a big fan of pitting in early in reverse grid races as we ride on board with our championship leader, Josh Rogers.
This is where the experience of Brad Jones Racing and their engineering team will be able to help, watching everything unfold around them.
Well, he had a shocking opening lap. I think he was last. So then he's gone long, and now they've all been crashing into each other. So
last and first at the moment.
Should help him out.
Every single Brad Jones Racing driver has led a lap tonight.
Excuse me, that was actually Phil Zell we're riding on board with. He had Rogers' gloves, so that confused me.
Fair enough.
How does that make any sense?
And he's got Josh Muggleton behind him, then Dane Warren.
Oh, was it Rogers? I'm getting confused. No, it was Rogers. Yeah, no, I was correct.
Yep.
Yeah.
Had the gloves right. Back yourself, Jonathan.
It's getting late.
Yeah, it's a late night.
We had a Shaw car that's green. Got a Castrol Racing Mustang that's green. Can't blame me for that.
That's for sure. Back on board with him right now. So where's he going to wash out after Jake Burton has his pit stop? He's currently 18th with 1 car left to pit. So it hasn't been the huge gains that we've seen from him in the other nights on the reverse grid race. He's got
a
longer race.
Sorry, Chad. He's got to come in this lap because the tyres last 5 laps. So right now you don't want to waste a fresh set of Dunlop rubber and leave it too late. So sometimes you just have to think about fresh rubber over track position. If he pits now, he should come out around about P14.
Well picked.
P15.
In comes the race leader. Oh, hang on. Wow. He was going to join a very illustrious club of drivers who have thrown it off the pit entrance at Bathurst.
That was big.
Points for the entrance. Yep. He did a Cam Waters entry. Did you see Cam Waters throw that thing into pit lane for the last pit stop? Made up about 10 car lengths on Shane Van Gisbergen. And Nick's car's going to go back to the lead.
Look at it go. Doesn't look good.
Looks glorious.
Batteries.
Yep.
Beautiful.
Well done. And he's got a handy lead here. With about 5 laps to go, he is absolutely on.
I've watched his lap times. He hasn't actually gone outside of 204 at all this race, and all the other cars later in the stint were out into the mid 5s. So he's just been super fast and consistent. And where's Jake popping out here?
What did I tell you?
He's at 14th, so that's incorrect.
Oh, come on, Nick. Get out of here.
Well, you asked.
Damn it. I'll take the L.
No, you did a good job.
So Suzlin-Harlow, Ethan Grigol, Blacklock now the top 3. So this is the fight for second. Punch-ons in the commentary box soon. I love it. Nelson can be the referee.
So Ethan Grigold's going to win this race. Brad Jones race. No, I'm just messing with you.
Jackson Suzlin-Harlow with a very good lead over these two at the moment. Ethan Grigol just goes really well at Bathurst. Loves this track.
And remember, he told us last year he loves long races. Do you feel that, Nick, sometimes in a sprint race compared to an enduro, you just get into that rhythm?
Yeah, 100%. And sometimes your car might not be strong in a short race where it needs to be quick, you know, for a short period of time. For us at BJR, sometimes our car is quite good over the long run, so we prefer the long races. So this year was actually a shock to see, you know, we were still up there competitive in a short race. So it was, yeah, it's definitely a mindset thing as a driver, and obviously the chassis balance, if it's not hard on the tyres or the way you drive it, could definitely play into the hands of a driver in a car.
Ethan Grigol does love the longer runs. He's making it count at the moment.
The front guys have just been so calm. They knew, because it's reverse grid, don't they? You just got to keep it clean, and the faster cars probably won't get to you. And they just let everyone crash around them. It was good.
Let everything happen in the background. Up 8 spots, Forzen Al Nabi in the BP Ultimate car. Can he sneak onto the podium here? We'll check out some lap times this time by Jackson Suzlin-Harlow again in, well, now he's back in the 205s for the first time, so maybe the tyre's just starting to check up. He's got a pretty handy lead now as well, so he can cool it a little bit. 205.1 Ethan Grigult, 205 flat Blacklock and Elnaby, so very similar lap times across the top 5 cars. Oops, right rear on the grass.
Can't say that, can you?
And he did, just. That was Ben Smith in the background. Oh, fight for second is on. This is open wheel stuff. Formula 1 scrap between Ethan Grigult and Sam Blacklock with a seriously late move.
How did you get the weight shifted around so quickly?
He just picked that thing up and threw it to the other side of the racetrack, and this might just get Forza Elnaby back into this fight.
Very classy guy is Forza Elnaby, and he's probably one of the most mature racers in the field. Just mentally, he knows how to approach these things. And it's good to see both he and Egg and Ethan Grigult end up with some good results for once. They've had a torrid few rounds, or at least since round 1. And Nick, have you noticed as well, the metal grate, everything, it's all simulated. It's all right there. Some people do use those as turning points, as you know.
Yeah, it's seriously impressive. And now, even late in the race, you can see the racing line getting darker on screen. So yeah, the track is actually rubbering up as we go, which is exactly what we look for when we're actually racing at Bathurst in the 1000. Here's this move again on the replay.
Whoa, that was late. It was a late move and a late block and an aggressive one from the Shannon's insurance team. This would be a good point of view.
They both do well to move the cars around that much and not just spear into the fence, to be honest.
It looks surprisingly calm from the driver's seat compared to what it looked like from the TV cameras. On a big slide mid-corner. Yeah, they did very well to throw them around Formula Ford style.
These cars weigh 1.4 tons, and they were able to shift it around like that. Here's Dane Warren.
Big slide through the chase, and in the background, Rogers goes through on Emily Jones. Emily's got her GT Sport Asia Pacific Championships coming up soon, so she's been doing double duties at the moment. So we wish her well for that one.
So is Harbour the one who's been the hardest guy to pass tonight? Is he the one causing a bit of mayhem for everyone?
He's been getting the elbows out.
This is good.
We like it.
Surf's up.
3 laps to go. This should be a bit of action. The hair says a lot.
Yeah, so. Surf's up.
Yep.
Kelly Slater's about to... no, I won't.
You need the speed, don't you? You're going to back up a fast haircut with a fast race car.
You do.
You're going to go big.
Bit of pressure on Debore this year then, wasn't there?
Absolutely.
Chase's antics.
Yeah, he's going to put a bit of blue streak through that as well. He helped out quite a lot with the Matt Stone Racing guys, Harley Haber, during their eSeries earlier in the year. Now, it's on here. Hampstead under fire.
Seiko 5 fastest lap for Andrew Gilliam, so he's got a fast repair on that Tickford racing car. And
from his opening lap crash.
Yeah.
Plenty of clean racetrack as well.
Bit of a fast repair boost, as you could say, in the Boost Mobile Racing Mustang, as we watch another train forming through the mountains. So this is interesting. First ever time in our E-Series we've had a reverse grid event, and it's really shuffled the order. Our championship challengers, you look at the likes of Cooper Webster, Jordan Caruso, 7th and 8th. Richard Hampstead's actually gone backwards this race. I think he fell into some trouble too, which is the reason for that. Madison down to 10th. Burton 11th.
12 as well, Madison down. So biggest mover of the race so far.
Exactly, well spotted. But Warren and Rogers have not had the cleanest of events. And it actually strikes me, we have their iRacing licenses up. They're actually 2 World Championship qualified licensed drivers, along with a few others in this field, and they race in the top echelon of iRacing competition. They race in the Porsche Esports Super Cup.
What rating do you need to be classed as World Championship level? As we get, hang on a second, I'll just call this because we've got the 2 BJR cars just about sideways going through the chase.
I think there's been a strategic call there.
Yep, so Burton's gone through on the fresher tyres.
This happens with us at BJR. If you've got the fresher tyres, you get a free kick past your teammate, and if you can't get it done, so if he can't now pass the cars ahead, they will be swapping back if they go by Brad's rules.
Okay. I've seen that a few times. Triple Eight have run some similar plays as well. Remember Lowndes and SVG?
Yeah, I think it's pretty common, and it's very fair. Most teams, you can't help your teammate get through.
3 to go. Up Mountain Straight we go again. Blacklock versus Ethan Grigult 2.0. And we've seen that before. Watch out for Forza Elnaby. He is lurking in that BP Ultimate car.
Bit of deja vu.
Forzen's deserving of another podium. He had one in the very first race of the season. Hasn't had one since, and here he goes to the inside.
Oh, no.
The cutting. Oh, rubbed the back of the 17, but not enough to turn him around.
That is not an overtaking spot.
Is that the commentator's curse? Did you just compliment on how he's the most mature
What a
driver
gentleman
out there?
he is. Well, the one car that he turned around in the All-Star E-Series was the 17 of Scott McLaughlin.
Oh, yeah, it was too.
He's all over the back of the 17
Maybe he
again.
has an issue with Shell V-Power.
Was that a Honda, I think, at Phillip Island?
Yep. It's the fuel wars at the moment. It's the battle of the premium fuel brands.
Maybe he takes the fuel war literal and he's like,
into it.
watch this.
Yeah, we'll show you who the number 98 is.
He's so lucky that he didn't turn him around, because not only has he probably avoided a penalty, I'm sure Justin Ruggio will be lenient with that, because Supercars do encourage vigorous door-to-door racing, as it's stated in the operations manual.
It says those very words.
Is that what it says?
It encourages vigorous
in our one or
battle.
this one?
Yeah, no, yours as well.
Oh, wow.
Yep, good to see you, Fred.
Robot.
They also say no applying of draconian penalties.
Love it. Someone's read the book at least. Through the chase we go.
That's all I remember. I'll shut up right there.
High-octane virtual battle between the fuel brands going through the chase. Cool to have this two-car BP Ultimate team with Forzan El Nabi and Emily Jones. Forzan originally from NZ, grew up a massive Greg Murphy fan. Moved over to Australia, now calls Melbourne home. And picked up a podium in the weekend's action at Spa in the V8 Scops.
Benjamin Smith, yep, good spot, Nick. So Nick spotted that Benjamin Smith's had issues on our live timing and scoring screens as we watch El Nabi here in deep thought, just trying to use the punch of air that Sam Blacklock is giving him here in the drive. They're using high downforce and he launches it from a mile behind, and that was always going to end in turmoil.
Oh, and through goes DJ Myers. He mixed that turntable beautifully through turn 2. And he has got himself up onto the podium.
That was literally like an open wheeler move. Like
That
the
was
last
a long way back.
Jink out and send it.
Well, it's brought Josh Anderson into this fight as well. And Blacklock will be pretty steamed up about that one. Gone from 3rd to 5th. Now, Brady Myers on for a potential first podium. Had a rough run last year after coming through as the #1 pick in the wild card. On for his first podium since Watkins Glen last year. Now Harley Haber, Dane Warren, Josh Rogers. And they are fighting over 12th. And I'm reminded of what Josh Rogers said in his interview. These reverse grid races tonight, or this one reverse grid race tonight, is worth more points than normal. Usually it's a 75-point race, 150 points tonight. So these spots really do matter right now. Big points up for grabs.
And there again, is this
our boy Harley Haber from Maidstone Racing?
Now, Nick, what do you reckon? He's at the B pillar, but it's a little bit too forceful.
It's aggressive. I'd imagine he might be getting a little penalty for that one.
He was at the B pillar and then some.
Yes.
The B pillar all the way to the fence on that one.
I feel like something's happened with Hampstead and Haber, because were they not battling earlier? Now Hampstead's dropped right down the order.
Yep, correct.
We didn't get to see a replay of it, but something's gone on there. And
he's had a tough night, Richard Hampstead, as well.
That's the problem with sim racing. And Chad, you and I noticed this as the final lap, or we're on the final lap here, but when we were trying to pit report for the All-Stars E-Series, there is so much to report on, you just cannot fit it in a broadcast. In the real world, like, you could just have a connection, like a disconnect in this race, and there won't be any yellow flags to tell you. There won't be anyone letting you know, oh, hey, this car's out of the race. It just vanishes. And it's this stuff that just is very awkward.
I can be the pit reporter from now on.
I like it. You're hired. You and Nelson.
Perfect.
So fight still going on in this little battle pack up through turn 2. And Blacklock's out in his feet here, and they're all ganging up on him. Cooper Webster goes through. Jackson Suzlin-Harlow still the race leader for Brad Jones Racing. And this fight still going on, and I love this battle. Caruso and Blacklock, they've both been on the podium already this year. Not going to be that way tonight. So they go across the top for the final time. Jackson Suzlin-Harlow now down through Skyline. The R&J Batteries entry. Had a trouble-free run. Have a look at that car right now. Not a scratch.
Perfect. Brad would be very happy.
He'd love to see that.
Not a scratch on it. Is this the car that AE's on?
No, I think this is...
No, he's on Burton's.
Oh, he's on Burton's car, okay.
About to add a trophy to the room tonight.
I was going to say, AE will be like, this...
You'll claim it.
Instantly delivered me a Bathurst win.
What have you done for me lately, Nick? Final time through the chase, 17 years of age, based out of Sydney. Made that switch across from the Cub Cadet car to the R&J Batteries car with Nick in the studio tonight.
Instant results.
How about that? You and Nelson are his good luck charm. He has had a boring race, which is a very good thing to say when you're the race leader. Just how he would have liked it. Not a scratch on this car. 16 perfect laps from this teenager. And Brad Jones Racing are going to win their second race of the year. Love the celebration sliding across the finish line. He's a two-time Australian Karting Championship.
Well done, Brad. You've got your Bathurst win.
Well done. He's finally BJR wins a race at Bathurst. They were so close in... Well, they got the Super 2 non-championship win, and now this. And again, all business as usual.
Yep.
For Jackson.
Another trophy.
He was the youngest ever V8 Scops race winner, and I dare say he's now our youngest ever Pro eSeries race winner. Ethan Grigdault second tonight. Brady Myers third, gets his first podium. Here he is, DJ Myers, on the podium for the first time since Watkins Glen last year. And that was a nice drive. Picked up that spot. We were looking at Ethan Grigdault, El Nabi, and Blacklock as the last guy to be on the podium, and out of nowhere came Brady Myers. Repco results off the back of very hectic reverse grid race. Jackson Suzlin-Harlow did it easily. Ethan Grigdault, he was very busy for that spot. Brady Myers with some racecraft to the podium tonight. El Nabi fourth, aggressive. Josh Anderson wrapping up the top 5. And Josh Muggleton inside the top 10. You love to see it. He's had some bad luck so far this year. Harley Haber, he was in everything tonight and he finishes 12th. Josh Rogers, championship leader, could only muster 14th. So Madison Down will get a couple of spots back on him tonight. Andrew Gilliam had his issues, and all the experienced Supercars drivers schooled tonight by the pros. Here are your highlights, your Repco highlights of what was a very busy race 8, the championship. Brody Kostecki in the all-pink car. Unfortunately, his livery didn't quite load up. Would have had beautiful Penrite Racing and Method all over that car. Not to be, and it unfortunately didn't look like that at the end of the race either. Lap 1 drama here, Jonathan.
Yeah, Andrew Gilliam turned around just like Ambrose and Murphy many, many years ago. That car should have been written off, to be honest with you. I don't know how he got that down into the pit lane. James Golding and Josh Muggleton, a little moment at the cutting. Everybody kept it clean. I lie. It got worse from here on in the Pinkrite Penrite Racing car. Brody Kostecki almost turned around by Brady Myers. We'll see if he actually receives a penalty for that. There have been post-race penalties coming in the last few rounds, so maybe that will slot him off the podium. There he is, bullied off the racetrack by Ethan Grigdault.
What a comeback to get to the podium from there. This was a big battle, this one. Harley Haber in the Kubota car, bang into the middies car of Dane Warren. And then this one, the other Walkinshaw Andretti United car with Brody Kostecki hard into the fence, blown engine, DNF didn't finish. Jordan Caruso fighting here with Job Stewart, and then wham, there goes Josh Muggleton into the back of the 99, or the 999, and sliding across the back of the racetrack, somehow avoiding more damage. This was such a good battle. Ethan Grigdault and Sam Blacklock, that was the start of it. And then eventually a few guys were able to catch up and put the pressure on. As the R&J Batteries, Brad Jones Racing Team pick up a win tonight with Jackson Suzlin-Harlow. Nicely done. He drove 16 beautiful laps to get the job done and picks up Brad Jones Racing's second win of the E-Series this year, joining Jake Burton and Madison Down as race winners of the E-Series going back to last year. And we might be able to check in with our race winner, Jackson Suzlin-Harlow, for a congratulatory chat off the back of that one. In the trophy cabinet room, are you going to be able to add a trophy to that one tonight, mate? That was a really good drive. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. It was good to get a good result in race 2. Obviously, in race 1, had an internet dropout when running pretty good with fresh tyres. So, yeah, to come back with a win is pretty cool. Obviously, it's not the way you want to do it in a reverse grid race, but a win's a win, I guess.
Good thing the internet dropped out in race 1 and not race 2. We've got Nick Percat on the desk tonight. Nick, you got a message for Jackson tonight off that awesome drive?
Yeah, you've got the job done for us, obviously, in the R&J Batteries car. And I know Brad will be pumped. A Bathurst win's a Bathurst win, but seriously impressive that last race. The consistency was amazing and, yeah, just kept it clean, which is what we want. So you're having a really good year on the sim and obviously in real life as well. Good job.
Thank you. Yeah, the sim's been pretty difficult. Obviously, when COVID hit, everyone jumped on the sims, had some fun with it. So, yeah, been on here a fair bit. Haven't had the best E-Series run lately. Just my own doing. I haven't put enough effort in. So, I'm turning that around.
At least you're honest.
Hey, Jackson. Now, last year, Jake Burton picked up a race win and asked Brad Jones on air for a drive. This is your chance. I'm giving you 5 seconds. Go now, quick.
Right. Thank you.
Please,
Bradley, can we get Jackson to drive? All right, well done, mate. Congratulations tonight. And the news gets even better for Jackson because he is going to be one of our 3 Lenovo top performers of the night. So it's going to be Josh Rogers, obviously, Jackson Suzlin-Harlow and Ethan Griggoult. Now head to the Supercars Facebook page tomorrow, find our Lenovo top performers post, and you can vote on who you think was the best driver of the night. Very special thank you to our guest tonight, obviously Jonathan Simon. He'll be back next week. Nick, did you have fun tonight? Did Nelson have fun?
Yeah, I think so. Look, he's still awake. So he's more impressed with this than he is with my sim racing during the year. He's gone. He's going home.
He's out. He's on walkies already. Nick's going to have to go join him. Thank you, guys. Thanks for joining us tonight, wherever you're watching. That was a lot of fun. Thanks for the fan questions as well. We'll see you next week for round number 4. Cannot wait. Pro eSeries, the best of the best. Whoa, how's this battle pack? The guys from the back. Oh, what? I think it was just about, Gillian, big shunt. He's gone in a big way. To the inside of Brody Kostecki goes the championship leader, and they rub. And Kostecki's in the wall, hard in the wall. Look at the grade. Job Stewart. Oh, no. Oh, they're all gone.
The Repco Supercars Pro eSeries is proudly brought to you by Pagnian, official reseller of Next Level Racing and Thrustmaster products.